10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to Idiot Blog 428. I'm going to turn the light off in the room behind me. Today we're featuring The Runner. You can find him at bandlab.com, Roadrunner Jr., username at Roadrunner Jr. I'm going to go turn that light behind me off. Boom. Yep. Today is an interview edition of the blog. Before we head on into it and give him a phone call, I'm going to go ahead and double check that we are simulcasting onto all the social media networks that I'm trying to be on. First off, there we go. Yeah. Looks like we're working on BandLab. I'm going to go ahead and go turn on the chat for the Idiot Blog on YouTube at youtube.com/idiotburns. Triple check facebook.com/Christopher Burns. And that's working. And finally, yes, it looks like we are working on bandlab.com. So, here we go. Track we're hearing right now is Whoa, Watch Out. No, this is not made for kids. Edit. The settings here. Live chat. Allow. Save. Chat is Chat is open. There we go. We're getting a little glitchy here. I'm going to try and see what's going on. Settings. Output. Keyframe interval. And the amount we're sending. 1500 kilobits per second. Apply. There we go. And close these down. Hopefully that keeps working just fine. Appears to be working fine over on Facebook, so why worry about it, right? Give me a minute here and I'll give him a call. Working just fine. Whoa. Appears to be working. Whoa. There we go. Chat is open. Had myself on repeat there. You could hear it for a second. There we go. I'll pop the pop-out unified chat out. If I missed the chat with you guys, don't worry about it. It's because I'm chatting with somebody else. It'll be The Runner. So let's go ahead and give him a call and get that going. What's going on, Jeff? There we go. It says my stream status is poor on YouTube. I don't know what's going on, you guys. Seems to be working just fine, so I won't worry about it too hard. Go ahead and give them a call here. Start the conversation. Yo, can you hear me? Let me see. Say hello. My name's Derunna.
Hello, my name is Derunna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good. I got your volume up. There we go.
Alright, good. Not much, man. Just making a couple mixtape covers.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah.
What do you do? What do you use that to make covers?
Well, I go online and I'll get like a good template. You know what I mean? From like a mixtape cover, free mixtape cover or whatever. You know. And then I'll take it to PhotoFox and I'll edit it with PhotoFox, and then I'll take it to PixArt and then make it look all, you know, perfect and nice.
Nice. Yeah, I use this thing on my phone called I use two things. If I use my own image or an image that I think that someone might be like, he stole that because it looks like maybe too generic or something, I'll put it through some kind of filter, right? Either like an Adobe app or something like that, or like just one of those filter apps.
I've been learning a lot about Adobe lately, man.
Yeah, and then I'll go from there, and then I put it in this app. It's called what is it called? UDoodle, and it lets you put words on things and shadowing and all kinds of weird things, and you can kind of spin the font around in all dimensions, so you can make it look, I don't know, like the Superman font if you wanted to. I guess, what I'm trying to say is it's very versatile for putting a logo on something, or like a mixtape name or whatever you want to call it, album name.
Yeah, that's what I like PixArt for, man, because if it's got words already on it, like the templates I use, I'll just it has this thing where you can kind of rectangle square over the title.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah, but usually I try to find, just like an idea from the mixtapes, and then I start my own thing from it. Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes I see something circular in the image, like I'll see like a little like a button on someone's shirt, or a bubble, and I'll replace the bubble or the button with the BandLab logo.
Yeah, I had did this like a diss track. Yeah. You know what I mean? I put myself inside the BandLab logo with like a scope, like looking through a scope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'm looking at Ecclesiastes here.
Chapter 3, verse 9.
Yeah, what does it say? What do workers gain from their toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. Is that right?
No. Well, yeah, probably the beginning of it, as you go on.
Yeah.
Was it verse 9? Yeah, it's the one where it says, all things under the heavens. There's a time to heal, time to kill, time to steal, time to break, time to build, time to plant, time to pluck.
That's 3:1 through 8. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. And a time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to lose and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Nana Nana Boo Boo, daughter. My daughter's breaking in here. What do you got? Show me. What do you got? She's hiding something behind her back. What is it? She's got this little miniature apron on for like baking, and she's hiding something behind her back. What do you got? Show me. I know you don't want to show me. I'm gonna find it. What is it? What do you got? What do you got? Okay, show me this hand.
I feel like I kind of know your family from watching all your vlogs, man.
She's got this little Mexican style maraca. Here you go.
She's ready to rock out.
Yeah. No, you gotta go. Oh, you can't come in here and throw fits. You gotta get her. You gotta get her. Sorry, my wife's gotta get her.
Come on, it's not like Daddy's getting paid.
Oh man. So it's funny. That's interesting because a lot of people would say that, you know, they don't realize that God is all those things.
Here, we'll come
Hey,
in
can you
towards
grab her
the-
and get her out of here?
Chill out.
Oh, I know, but come on. She's not doing good in here. She's freaking out just because I touched her item. Jeez, kid. But people don't realize that God is all those things. He is the war and the peace.
Yeah. He's the spirit.
Right, and you know,
Yeah.
people don't get that though. People are like, you know, people will get when someone dies in their family or something like that. They'll get. Bye. Close the door. What are you doing? Okay. All right. They're being loud in here. Sorry about that, but
You're good.
it's all good. Yeah. But you know, people don't get that. People don't get that he is the gnashing of teeth and the best of times. You know, he's all that, and he's the choice. He's the choice to go to war or not. He gave you that choice. He gave you options. You have to choose these things, right?
Yeah, free will, man. It's a dangerous thing, man.
Right? Yeah. The
People
devil.
don't really get it. The whole basis around it, man. The fact that the Bible is like all knowing. You know what I mean? Like the Bible knows things. Like you can have a question about anything in life, and the Bible will tell you the answer about it, and you just won't realize it when you first hear it until after it's happened to you.
Right. I didn't take the thing from her, by the way. Anybody who's on the blog, I didn't take the thing away from her, but for 2 seconds to shake it in front of the microphone, and I tried to hand it back, by the way, and she threw it. So, come on, kids will be kids.
Facts. Yeah, I got three boys myself. No,
Yeah.
all crazy.
I think the boys are better. They listen, they get lost in their head and distracted and play. And girls are just ever demanding. Just be glad you don't have 4 girls.
Yeah, but wait till they get older, man. You'll be saying the difference. You know what I mean? Because the girls are gonna take care of you, and the boys are gonna be like, "Fuck you, dad."
Yeah, I don't know, man. Me and my brother are both pretty cool, but I guess that could be true. You know, I mean, I feel like
I wouldn't
this.
want me for a son. I know that much.
Yeah, maybe that's true. But I think it's like the son is going to probably get in trouble in his teenage to early 20s, right? And then he's going to come back and he's going to redeem all that by being like, dude, I wouldn't be who I am without you.
Right.
And then women are like, you're finally getting so frail. Let me do all this for you. And it's almost like, what? You know, as a guy.
Yeah,
you know?
that's very true, man. 'Cause especially people like you and I, man, because we're high energy people. You know what I mean? We don't want to be told we can't do anything or whatever. You know?
Yeah. Our time with women is limited. We may get divorced a couple times. Who knows?
I don't even want to talk about. that. I've been there, done that. You know what I mean? My last one, I was with her for 7 years, man.
Yeah.
So I didn't never think she was gonna leave, and I was a piece of shit back then too, man. This was like 6 years ago, and I was still getting in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
She just got tired of it, you know.
Guys are slowly evolving. beast.
Man, we're you know, it's crazy because us as guys, we act like women are frail or something, but women are a lot stronger than men. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, oh yeah. Guys are. I've tried to tell everybody this. Guys are the sensitive one. Why do you think they need that machismo to prevent people from saying things that have anything to do that would hurt their feelings? You know, they just keep. Let's just make that all off limits. Why do you do that? Because that shit hurts our feelings very easily.
Yeah.
And women are,
and then we don't say nothing about it. We get all huff and puff inside, and then we just throw like little fits, like
right. And dude, the men will dwell on that thing you said forever. Not everything. You know, you could call me bald and I won't care. But you say the wrong thing, I could be dwelling on that. Especially if you're like a friend or someone I like, and you say the wrong thing, I could be dwelling on that for like 10 years past when I stopped talking to you, right?
So true.
And
so true.
And girls use those kinds of things to fight each other. They literally fight with that. They fight with gossip. They fight with rumors. And men are like, no rumors. Those are totally off limits. Let's just punch each other with our actual fists.
right.
Because,
dude, I don't want to deal with that. I was in medium. This is back when I was locked up. I was in medium security. All right.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of sensitive ass. Every morning they wake up, have the country music playing, have, you know what I mean, the saddest shit you ever heard in your life playing. Everybody's all emotional, and then you put your ear to the fucking beanhole, right? And you can hear the women fighting. I'm talking about 24/7, dude. There was never
morning,
a moment where
they wake up,
morning,
spitting,
wake up, naked. You know what I mean? Get wrong pain. And the only reason I know they're naked is because I worked the hall for a little time, and I've seen them actually do this. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
I thought we were the Neanderthals. Nope. I guess we were the civilized ones. We didn't realize it the whole time.
Oh man, it's the it comes down to the fact they're like, men, we're complicated. We're really way more complicated than women are. We act like women are complicated, but we are way more complicated.
Oh yeah.
We can be sensitive assholes, or it don't even matter. You know what I mean? We can change within 5 seconds.
Ask a woman a question, and she'll give you an answer. And then you question that, and she'll give you a different answer, and it will even change the first answer. Ask a man a question, and he'll think about those two different things and sit there in silence for like 5 minutes and then never answer and say something completely off subject because he doesn't even want to go there. It's like,
that's me.
Yeah, it's like, how long can I wait before this question passes? Does this question ever pass?
And then she'll just stare at you. And like, my girl will stare at me. Did you hear me? I just kind of look at her with the dumb expression, like, what?
Exactly. Well, one thing I was going to say is the free will there, and we're bouncing back for a second. The free will, that's what God gave us, right? And he gave us the time for war, and the time for peace, right? And that kind of encompasses all those different back and forths, right? And he gave us free will, and the devil was trying to take the free will and just make us good, or make us be what we were supposed to be without free will. And that was the war. Everyone thinks it's between good and evil. No, it's not. No. It's between choice and no choice.
Exactly. I don't think there's a such thing as a good and evil. Everybody's the hero of their own story, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes you have to do something that one man's sin, worst mortal sin, you have to do it every day because it's your job. It's like literally your job at work.
Yeah, and that's what it says in the Bible too. Follow the laws of your land, you know what I mean?
Right.
Which is crazy because there's a lot of things in the Bible that were changed over time.
Yeah.
And I do believe that what you believe in, I believe your self-beliefs are the most important thing before anything else. Because the first thing you are before you're anything is you're a man. You know what I mean? Or a person, a human. You know what I mean? And you got to remember that, like, a lot of the things that we see in society are nothing but just it's all to keep your mind caged.
I think it's like think of it like this, like if you really are operating under his will with free will, you're going to do what you want, and at all times when you're making these choices of what you want to do, you're going to kind of reflect in your heart of hearts. But when you won't do that is when you're just always looking out distracted at these mirages of reality.
Facts. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of the laws that, America is the perfect example of hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? Like one
Yep.
side of the country says one thing's okay, and the other side that says no, you can go to jail for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we see it all the time. You know what I mean? Like with weed or with just about anything. You know what I mean?
Weed's a perfect
Guns.
example because even just a couple years ago, you could have been down in just in California, and you get caught with an ounce, and you're literally getting a felony charge, like no matter what. And then you
Yep.
could be up in Washington, and you get caught with an ounce, and the guy's like, "Is it good?" Like how like did you smoke any of it? And you're like, "No, I didn't smoke any yet." Oh, okay. Have a nice day.
Yeah, man.
You know, and it's like just the state lines, which aren't even lines, you know, they're like, there's no borders. You could walk across them, bike across them, drive across them, and no one will even say anything.
See, Georgia, I live in Georgia now, right? And I used to live in Maryland. It's
Yeah.
legal in Maryland for recreational use, and it's illegal here.
In Georgia.
And yeah, Georgia, they're still assholes about everything here.
Is that one state away?
No.
Couple
Maryland,
states.
Georgia.
Yeah.
That's eight states away. But I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
it's really not that far. It's like 800 miles. I can make the drive in 10 hours.
Exactly. It's like driving from
But I used-
Seattle to into the northern section of California, where they're growing all the weed, but they can't even legally smoke it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
here you can go to jail for CBD.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, and here's the craziest thing, man. CBD is an actual healing medicine. It actually
Oh, yeah.
works for multiple things.
We got receptors for it in our body. I know that it's obviously part of who we are, because think about this. You do crack. Let's just say you do crack, or you do a line of coke, or any of these hard drugs, meth, you name it, right? Even
Right.
mushrooms. You do them, and a week later they test you, and you got nothing in your system.
Exactly.
Even if you're doing coke for like a year
Non-stop.
straight, then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you stop, and a week later,
3 days later,
Yeah.
4 days later, it's gone.
It's gone. It's not even in your system. You could take a piss test. You could do anything. And then me, I smoked weed for 15 years, and it went into every single cell. Every single cell I made was made with the blood that had weed in it for the last 15 years. And
It takes you months to get clean.
it's
man.
taken me months. It's taken me like 5 months to get clean.
Yeah,
I'm still
I know,
not
man.
clean.
They did the same thing when I first got in trouble, back when the first time I ever got in trouble, you know what I mean? Got put on probation or whatever.
Yeah.
I failed every drug test because, my family smokes weed. I mean, my dad, when I lived with my dad, we smoked weed all day, every day. That's what we did, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then fucking, when I actually had to go take a drug test, I tell the lady every time, like, look, man, this shit is not going to stop happening, at least for a couple months. I mean, like, you have to realize at the time I was like 17. I've been smoking weed every day since I was 13.
Yeah, some people have been smoking since they're 8. I mean, think about that. Like, you're not done developing at 8. You're not done developing at 17. You're not done
You
developing.
really shouldn't be smoking weed until you're at least 15, 16. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but
'Cause-
I'm just saying, some people are smoking since 8, and
Oh, yeah,
when they
yeah.
get caught at 25, they're not going to be like 2 months later be clean. I don't know, dude. This stuff is like works with the body, you know. Yeah.
That time I got lucky because I had a cool probation officer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was just like, it's all okay. She stopped drug testing me after the 3rd month of me failing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm off work from Boeing because I bumped something at work. Like bumped something, and I like put like a scratch in the back of a rental party bus, basically, that we moved around the airport with. And dude,
That's fucked up, man.
oh man, I've been on this drugs.
Did they lay you
drugs for the
off,
work
or-
program.
I mean,
No, they didn't lay
what
me
did-
off. They put me on in a program where I go for 13 weeks. I do 2 meetings a week, and I drug test like 3 times during that period, and then every couple of weeks I got to do a drug test, and it just stays in my system. Sometimes it's going up to like levels that people would have when they smoked a joint 3 days ago.
Did they watch you when you piss?
Yeah, but they watch me when I piss. But here's the thing: let's say I piss clean. Once I go back to work, I'm gonna piss at work every week for 3 years. So I better be clean.
Shit.
So I better be clean by the time I'm clean. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I want to
bullshit.
be clean, and then I want to like test like 3 more weeks and be clean for 3 more weeks before I even go back to work, because I could be clean 1 week and then a week later they be up at 20 something again, and there's zero tolerance there at Boeing. So it's
let me ask you this:
frustrating.
Do you feel any? And I don't want to say better, but do you feel any more like clearer?
oh yeah, yeah. Okay. The thing is, I used it so long that even if I were to like go smoke a joint right now, I wouldn't be like so stupid that I couldn't write songs or play guitar. I could play in time, I could play drums in time. Would it take me a little bit longer to learn something new, like a cover, and play it the way that the artist performed it? Yes. It would take me more time high. And I didn't know that when I was high, because I just kind of slowly got into it and I didn't see the transition. But here's the main difference. When I like look at my home and how clean it is, when just basic things like how I drive and things like that.
Yeah. How you view everything too, almost. Just
It's
like,
a lot tighter. The lens, the focus is better. But when it comes to not being uptight at my wife or stuff like
Oh yeah,
that,
you ain't got nothing to relax now. You gotta.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
you have to have something to have that outlet. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
life will wind you up, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I last time that we talked, we were both smoking the whole time. You know what I mean?
right.
And now today, like I barely smoke anymore, man. And I don't know what it was. I just I had to quit for a minute for probation or whatever,
Yeah.
because some old shit had finally came back around or whatever. So I mean, I didn't even care. You know what I mean? They don't even drug test me. I just quit, and then when I quit, I just felt so much better. And now, like, I smoke every now and then, but I feel so stupid, like I feel retarded when I smoke. I don't like to smoke around people and shit. Definitely not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause-
Back when I got popped at work, I was to a level of smoking where like I literally could have like on my break gone. If I had a 1 hour break, I only have a half an hour break, but let's say I had a 1 hour break, I could have walked off site, while eating a sandwich, got into my car and smoked an entire joint, and then gone back into work and been building planes without making any errors. Because,
Right.
and without even feeling like, oh my gosh, paranoia, right? Oh my gosh.
Right.
But now, the one thing that is different, if I know that if I were to smoke, I would have an oh my gosh kind of paranoia feeling.
and nervousness.
Yeah, like that's like kind of like, it's like kind of like I remember like, oh shit, I used to feel that like years ago when I would smoke, and I hadn't
Especially
felt that
now.
in forever.
Especially now that they have an idea of, you know what I mean? You can't do it comfortably now because you feel like you're under watch.
Right. Yeah. Right. So for me, the fucked up part is, like, for me, if I have even just having like a couple beers, like in the evening, it fucks with my whole body. It's like it's like having like a half a loaf of bread for my weight.
I know.
At the same time as it's like having a half a 64-ounce apple juice for my. I'll have the shits and I'll also be gaining weight from it. It's like, what the fuck? This is not good for the body. So it's like, I could smoke weed and my body was fine. And it was probably healthy in the sense that if cancer were to develop in some random spot in my body and I'm saturated, it would be anti-cancer, right? But at the same time, like, I don't know, I need something to relax. So I think every once in a while I'll drink, Just when I get like too itchy and I'm like, ugh, I got to do something, I'll just have, a couple beers or something and relax that way. I try to do things like tea, relax with tea, and other things like substitute,
Yeah, a lot of people do like yoga or meditate or.
That shit's stupid for me.
I know, man. I tried it, dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I tried it. I just can't. I can't do it, man. I
For
can't sit there with
me,
my eyes.
drumming and playing guitar, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Put it on a song that's inspiring and I just like belt out some random stuff. Like, you got this song playing right here, How You Like Me Now. and I just go, let's go. How I feel about the things that I feel, it's really unreal. It makes me want to kill. I'll just sit there and do stuff like that, just like freestyle. Even though I might not capture a bunch of my freestyles or anything, but I freestyle. I freestyle like a singer. I freestyle like I'm doing metal. I freestyle and rap style.
I don't write any of my music, man. All of it's punched in freestyle.
And you know what? I don't ever sit down and write the song and write all the different riffs and then come to and then look for the right drum beat and to put all those riffs to. I just listen to a drum beat, which is no different than a beat that has no piano, right? And then going, and let's say a beat that's just the drums, right? And you're gonna freestyle over it. That's like what I'm doing with my guitar. Literally.
Yeah, I know, 'cause I watched the conversation you had with what's his name? He's a guitarist.
Samuel Plaison.
Is that yeah plays on.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome conversation, by the way. I meant to tell you that, man. Because like whenever you come on at night, I mean, I don't always say nothing, but I'll always turn my radio on my receiver on and have you playing over the speakers and shit while I'm doing shit or what I mean.
Yeah. It's cool.
Setting up shit or doing my mixtape covers or whatever. Or sometimes, and then after your show ends, you know what I mean, I'll catch up on older shit because YouTube will just go to the next one and I just end up listening.
Nice. Thanks, YouTube.
It's a fact.
Yeah, I like hearing that. A couple other guys will do that too. They'll go, I'm at work, I just watched 3 of your blogs, and they'll like send me a text about things I said like a week ago.
It's like a real radio show. I mean, podcasts are podcasts. You know what I mean? But there's usually multiple people. It's like a real radio show. Like how I listen to it. It's like listening to the radio.
Nice. Pirate radio off BandLab.
Right. Well, the reason why I like listening to because we have a lot of the same views on a lot of the same things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you're ornery motherfucker. Dude, when you were like, well, man, I've done took contests away from that's all I got. I'm like, man, you're sitting on a computer right now. I know you are.
Yeah, but I don't use BandLab on the computer.
I know. I don't know. I won't either. You know what I mean? And I've been done with the contest because last year, man, me and a used to be friend of mine, we made a song and got the most likes, got the most plays. It's like 900 something likes.
Yeah.
And I didn't even come in top 4.
Yeah. I did that. Let's see, how many months were there last year? 12 months. So 9 months out of 12 months, I was in I know for sure I know for sure they did the top 8, and I was in the top for the first 5 days of most of these months, and I was in the top 8 at the end of all these, and I didn't get a single win in all of 2020.
Yeah, man. Once you get on there. See, here's the thing, BandLab, they like me or whatever because of the trackland and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a little bit of pull with Amon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, not really, not no real pull, but like I talk to him every now and then, vent to him about cause I got a lot of ideas about BandLab. I'm sure you do. It comes to a point where you get tired of it. You know what I mean? Like
here and there you do.
They don't listen to nothing. They don't care. They want, instead of actually putting the money into the people that are on BandLab, like there's a lot of amazing artists on BandLab. Instead of putting the money behind them to push their product, they give money to people who don't ever get on BandLab. Like Eumonic. Don't get me wrong, Eumonic's a cool dude and all. I've watched a lot of his YouTube stuff, but he's just not BandLab. You know what I mean? He's not a real BandLab guy. No, like they would have been better off having you or somebody like me or somebody like even Pill. I don't even like Pill Clinton, or somebody like Pill Clinton. You know what I mean? He's all right. I like him. I mean, he blocks me every once in a while, and I'm like, "Why you block me?" And then he unblocks me. We have a lot. We had he tried to snitch on. Dabs, right? With a Z. King Dabs. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, well, we were all in a band together or whatever, and Dad kicked him out because whatever reasons, man. And dude threatened to tell on him and all kinds of shit, and then whatever, you know what I mean? Stupid stuff. Yeah.
he does funny stuff, and I used to always be. I did an interview with him, and I used to always be chatting with him, and then all of a sudden he just kind of was like, nope, with me, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? What's up with that? And I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything from him for like half a year, and it's not like he's winning the contest anymore either. And I think they kind of move in phases, and I think they kind of just hop around. It seems like now they give a lot of wins to like babes, and like they're like, oh, you're like a good-looking girl on the app, we'll feature you, and they just feature, and it's just shallow. It's just shallow of them, because there's guys out here that have been putting 4 hours a day into their guitar, and they never got a win yet, and they should have gotten a win, back on one of my wins that should have been them, And now it's been a whole year with me not even winning and them not even winning. And, like Andrew Shirley, he should have won some contests. Matt Dunlap should have won some contests.
Yeah, Dunlap's fire.
Because he's not just a drummer. He's a singer, bassist, guitarist, drummer. His voice is even better than mine. The guy can do it all, and he should have won for something. Maybe he didn't put himself in the contest, but they should have reached out to him and been like, dude, we appreciate you so much. There's not enough of guys like you, or something. And when he complained about people who were ripping shit off, they should have taken him seriously and not just been like, whatever. Because, he has regrets about it, but he also knows why he did it. He had to delete his account at one point, because they weren't listening and they were letting, like, the fakers on, people that were stealing music and stuff, so...
Did you ever get the chance to talk to Lauren, the HP rep?
Lauren HP, I talked to her one time. I don't think she's Hewlett Packard, is she?
No. She's like, what was it? It don't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, she left. She just left.
She did?
Yeah. Like last week, she took a job, but she took, I'm in that Tracklanta fam or whatever, and I posted one of my songs in the messenger, and she messaged back, and she was like, man, I wish I would have got the chance to work with you. I'm leaving, da-da-da-da. I'm like, where are you going? She's like, oh, I got a better offer. Like, it doesn't even surprise me at all, because BandLab don't even take themselves serious. Why do they expect anybody else to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was, I talked to Amon Wong on the phone one time when he was in New York. And we had some kind of... I wouldn't say that we didn't. We at some points we blended and we had a good conversation like me and you are having now. But at other points, it's like he wasn't hearing me. It's like he had his own thoughts on what BandLab should be so much in a way that he couldn't even hear what I was saying.
It's crazy because he doesn't get to control nothing though.
And he was like, I don't control anything. It's Lauren controls everything. I work for her. So now who does he work for? I don't think
any of them control anything, man. It's really the CEO, dude. What's his name? Ming.
Yeah, Ming.
Yeah, Ming.
Yeah, but he's never on. I haven't had him like my stuff in forever, and maybe that's why I haven't won anymore, because I pissed him off when I said they were all assholes that one time. But
yeah, I think he just. I think it was one of those things where it was like an interest for like 5 minutes for him, because from the research I've done on him, he seems like one of them kind of guys who get real interested in something for a couple months and then jump to something else.
Yeah,
he's got all kinds of businesses, man, under the BandLab name.
Yeah, he grew up the son of somebody who had his area's biggest. I'm doing good. What's up? King's Echo said, "How you doing?" What's up? So he grew up as his dad owns the biggest. It's like his dad owns Guitar Center, meets Sam Ash, meets Andertons, meets every guitar manufacturer in all of Asia, or something, right? He's huge.
I've seen that.
And it's called Swee Lee, and so his dad works for that, and so he obviously went into music stuff, got into music stuff. Now I have a hard time figuring out if he got into music stuff because he loves music, or if he got into music stuff because it's like my dad knows everything about soil, so I know everything about soil, so I work soil. Is his dad know everything about music and musicians and musician toys, so he got into musician toys? I don't know. I can't tell if he's got a musician's passion or if he's just got a flair for business that involves musicians.
I think it's the business. You know how their whole, it's not just him, you know, their whole culture is built around, you know, the business and the you know, the son takes over after the father is gone or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially in their position, they had a lot of money, you know.
Yeah. And you know, if he's from Singapore, that he's English fluent, because that's their main language there.
Yeah.
So I get that, and you know, and my conversation with who I've had conversations with has been good. I've also had some not so good interactions. Maybe I was in a bad place when I was interacting, but I've had, and the only guy I've had that with was Mike B, and he's seemed to like let it roll right off his shoulder. Like, I don't care, whatever, it's in the past. He said something one time, I haven't even thought about it since, kind of guy. He probably has, but he's like, whatever, I let it go. You know? So.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because I feel like now at this point, because I know that I was looking on their, they're looking for people, you know what I mean, to actually come, they can write code and all that.
Yeah.
So they're like hurting for people, and I know they keep losing people.
Yeah.
And you know, Amon's their lead tech guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think my feeling is that he knows Meng. This is my feeling, that he knows Meng, and like he got the job through him, and he's gonna keep working this job for multiple reasons, including that he's a musician.
Yeah.
And he's passionate about it.
Yeah, man, I got a couple buddies that think they have all kind of weird theories about Amon, but they don't understand that Amon's just a very intelligent. You know, he likes to mix geometry and music together. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And I've had conversations with him just like you have. You know what I mean? And I seen the same thing. Like we were face to face talking, and I seen how he just kind of wonders why you're talking to him sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this: he was fast talker, right? So the conversation was smooth because we're both fast talkers. But when I said something that required like a real deep introspection, he didn't catch what I was saying. He was only thinking about how he thinks of it, the way that he already imagined it. And so he couldn't understand, you know, what I meant when I said I know 1,000 people on BandLab personally. He was like that. He basically said that's impossible. I was like, no, that's not impossible. I went to school with 1,600 people and I knew everyone. And I was named the guy most likely to start a cult in my high school because I knew everyone. And that was high school. That was 20-something years ago. I do it better now than I did it then.
You know, on my wrap-up, it said I had 3,200-something collaborations. You know what I mean? With 2,000 different artists, but 3,000 songs.
Right.
Which I can believe because, you know, there was a time where I would just accept every invite and just throw a verse on every song.
Right.
Yeah.
As it came in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because my whole thing is, I like the reason I like BandLab to begin with was because the interaction, you know, especially with there would be ciphers that would go for 50, 60 people long. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they ain't like that anymore. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I don't know. It's changed a lot, man.
Yep, it's changed. It's changed, and it's also kind of morphed from, you know, even 3 years ago, it was like it felt like an even blend of rap and metal and pop and jazz, and now it's kind of just swings more and more towards just trap and pop. And you're like, what? Where's the real hip hop stuff? Where's the? And you know,
I'm guilty of going with the trend, man, because
Yep.
You know, I'm just trying to do what everybody, you know what I mean? You know.
You know who I think I like, and at first I wasn't sure about? Loud Pop. At first I wasn't sure about him because Ryan Walton, because he was always winning. And I came in to try and win because everyone that was always winning, right? I was like, oh, there's these always winners. I got to break that up because I'm a nobody. And if I break that up, that's
first spammer.
Right. The first and the only. No, just kidding.
Spam the shit out of everybody. I remember when that shit started, man. I go to my messenger and I'd think I have a real message, and it'd just be him.
Yep. Well, I did it too. I did it to try and compete with it all. Just to see what it was like.
Different, man. Yours was different, man. Yours was more. I'm not saying that what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
Because he just outsmarted the whole game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yours were more like. I see. You used to love BandLab so much. I really thought that you were gonna end up being like, you know what I mean, the BandLab guy, the face of BandLab. Like either. I'm serious. Either you or what's his name, man? Fuck, man. I'm forgetting his name, man. He's the other one that had like 50,000 followers. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy now. Hold on one second. I gotta look at my Rusty Wilkins.
Oh, Rusty Wilkins, yeah.
Yeah, like you and him were like the top. To me, when I first got on BandLab, you two were BandLab.
You know what my daughter just brought me? She brought me these things for frosting that are, the beaters. When you're the beaters, when your mom makes the frosting or whatever, and she gives you the beater. She just brought me one of them, and she has one of them. She brings them into the room, and she starts looking at both of them. She's like, "Which one has more?" Looks back and forth, and decides to give me the one that has less.
At least she gave you one, though. She could have kept both of them.
Yeah.
Peace offering.
Rusty's awesome. They're always asking him about his promotions and what's coming up next and stuff like that.
Promotions? Does he work for BandLab?
No, but he does these contests that are way cool.
Oh, I know. I don't know how he keeps it all organized, man. He's got Ink Music, West, East, North, South. He's got the different genres. I mean, I was in it for a minute, man, but I just couldn't vibe with all the people that were in there. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's hard because I had a young person be my partner, and they were like a 15-year-old that says it's my way or the highway, basically. I was like, what? You know, I've been doing this for 23 years longer than you? You don't want to hear anything that has to come out of my mouth? You just want to do it your way? We're not going to win it this way, but okay. You give me a track and I'll add to it.
What a fool. What a fool. What a fool, man. See, people don't understand, man. There's a history behind all music, not just a single genre. It's all connected, man. It all comes from the same thing, you know what I mean? Like just like heavy metal, rock, all that, you know what I mean? Just like rap comes from the same thing that rock comes from, you know?
Yeah, it all comes from a blues song.
Yeah, jazz and blues and you know, Otis Redding. Yep,
it came from blues and jazz. It went in all these different directions, but every direction it goes in, which distinguishes itself as something different from where it came from. It blends back with what it came from. It blends with the other things that were created by it, and then it creates new things, and it blends with the things that it creates, and all these things, they all blend together. And they can do that because they're under they're under the same umbrella that is music. You know, they're not even microtonal and other kinds of weird experimental music, noise can all can work together. It's just up to the people to try and find a way to make it work. You know.
Yeah, ain't it crazy how hip hop and R&B is merged?
Yeah, it is. It's almost like there isn't two different genres right now.
Yeah, man, because, I mean, I love it, because I like doing I'm not even gonna lie, my favorite music to make is that auto-tune, like melody, because, don't get me wrong, man, like, I grew up in the areas of trapping, and I've known about it my whole life. That's why I don't really like rapping about it as much as, like, people love them songs, them crazy songs I be putting out. People love them, but I don't. They're so easy to me. They're just punching some shit where I'm just being an asshole and just talking crazy, or I'll take a situation from my life and I'll turn it into a story or whatever, and people love it. And to me, there's no real thought process behind it. There's no real structure to building the song with the melody. You have to blend everything perfectly. There's
Right.
a science behind it, you know?
Right. It becomes like there's only so many ways. I mean, there's probably more ways you can take it, but there's only so many ways you, personally as an artist, and the ways you do things, can blend with what's already there, that harmony or whatever, right? So you have to kind of, find the thing that you do that works with this, kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you don't. You can be inspired and you can be a little bit original from where you previously created, right? Because the melody or whatever takes you somewhere a little further or a little different place down the road. But at the same time, there's still like your musical flavor.
Twist.
Yeah, it's gonna have to work with it in that, and your flavor is gonna have to work with it or whatever.
See, what auto-tune allows you to do, though, is it allows you to bounce your voice to ways that, even if you could sing, like, perfectly sing, you know what I'm saying? Like, amazingly sing, there's still things that auto-tune allows you to do with your voice that are just not possible anyway else.
Right.
I like doing that low, like, it's almost like a guitar.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that guy, Tom McDonald?
To be honest with you, I love him. I think he's
same.
amazing.
I like him too. I like him a lot. I actually profoundly was that most recent song, I think it's called Fake Awoke.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I liked the chorus, how it was singing, and it was almost somewhere like between like rock and pop, but with the same beat going down underneath of it. And then the verses were like a trap version of Eminem.
Mac Lethal, the one that he dissed, the one that Tom McDonald dissed.
Yeah.
Right after they got into that thing, that little squabble, Mac Lethal got on BandLab for like a month. And he messaged me. I'm like, man, really? Like, this is where you end up? Like,
is that how far down he drove you?
I mean, that was crazy, you know what I mean? Because Tom McDonald did destroy that man, you know what I mean?
It's funny. It's too bad.
I mean, it really does suck too, because Mac Lethal was, he was in the hip hop community, in the freestyle hip hop community. He was kind of like, he was taken serious, and now he's a meme.
So hey, man, I know we chatted a bunch before. We got like a 2-part blog out there, but I didn't ask you every question. I didn't ask you, what's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero. Well, it's there's two of them.
Okay.
Batman and Iron Man.
Okay.
And the reason why is because neither one of them are like on steroids or aliens or
superpowered.
They're
they just have
regular
this suit.
Humans.
Regular dudes with the cool suit.
And the reason why I love Batman so much, obviously, is because he beat Superman, and he was a man. You know what I'm saying? He's a regular man who was able to beat the shit out of a god. People looked at Superman like a god. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like the Jesus archetype.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the story of Jesus, and Batman was able to defeat him. And I'm not
I
saying
sent my son. Jor-El's all like, I sent my son to your planet to save you. His powers derive from the power of the sun.
Yeah, dude. And I like DC more than I like Marvel, even though everybody loves Marvel. But DC to me, everything that Marvel really had that was anything good was actually copied after DC. You know what I mean?
Or it was like reworked. Stan Lee was a genius at that.
Yeah, he was awesome, dude. He was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but DC is just like the Joker. I mean, what other supervillain have you ever seen is like it just leaves you wondering more and more and more, and like it could drive a person mad. Like, seriously. Yeah.
Oh, Joker's great. And when you're playing as kids and only one guy wants to be the bad guy, that bad guy's, you're playing superheroes as kids, and everyone, I'm going to be Spider-Man, I'm going to be Batman, I'm going to be Superman, I'm going to be Iron Man, I'm going to be blah, 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 blah. You got to be the bad guy. I'm the Joker.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, no!
Yeah, because, I mean, you can't beat the Joker, man. The thing about Joker, man, is because you could beat him, he goes to prison, and somehow he's the next guy. Like
he's gonna break
it's
out
like,
of prison with 5 extra thugs. You put him in the insane
Yeah.
asylum, and you basically just gave a birthday cake.
I
He's
don't
gonna
know
get
if you've
10
ever
thugs.
I don't know if you ever played. I'm not much for video games anymore, but I used to be like 10 years ago. I was like really into them.
Yeah.
And PlayStation. I mean, not PlayStation, but they put out a Asylum, Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
know.
I did play that a little bit, actually. That was
Yeah.
probably one of the very end games I ever played.
One of the very like last missions, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne like turns into the Joker, and it was like, dude, it was a mind fuck from like you couldn't believe, man. It was amazing.
Do you remember in the Superman movies where Superman fights himself, like the bad Superman?
Yeah, I do. You had the Bizarro Superman, and then you had the actual bad Superman.
It's like Superman, he like fights himself in the dump. It's like Christopher Reeves fighting Christopher Reeves. And it's like, he's like, Superman is like bad, and he's like beating the shit out of Clark Kent. Clark Kent's not doing anything, and then Clark Kent finally rips his shirt open, and he's the good Superman. And he chokes the bad Superman until he just kind of disappears, and he's good again.
What was that red rock that they used to make Superman evil?
The Red Rock, exactly. It's a bad version of kryptonite that Lex Luthor was working on, and he was trying to make kryptonite, but he didn't. And this is his failed attempt of kryptonite, and then ended up taking him and making him bad.
And it's crazy because Lex Luthor was really just trying to protect humanity the whole time. I mean, they try to in the cartoons and stuff. They try to make him look like he was like just evil, but
Yeah.
the whole theory behind him is the reason why he wanted to kill Superman was because Superman was too godlike, and if one day he decided to turn on the world.
Right. He's like, think of it like this: Superman does everything to clean up the world, and he takes the nuclear power from everyone, and he takes the weapons from everyone, and then Superman dies because he gets old. Then society didn't grow properly, and they cave in on themselves. So Lex Luthor's trying to avoid
playing
that.
with humanity.
Yeah, he's an alien
exactly.
playing with the human history. And it's like, what the fuck? We got to get rid of you because you're going to leave us in the worst position as a race.
Right. Like we were used to you protecting us when anything bad happens. So without you, we're going to be pathetic and nothing. And we don't have nothing to protect ourselves. Or we don't know how to war.
We're going to spend 1,000 years going, where is Superman?
Exactly. And it's crazy because that's how deep the thought process goes behind the whole thing, because it could be it could be compared to aliens messing with humanity or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're anything like me, you know what I mean. I get deep off into that stuff sometimes, especially anything science related.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
same. Everything from comic books to a book on string theory. I'll get lost and like start thinking about all kinds of weird things that. And you know what? I prefer YouTube channels that are like that are thinking about things, that are talking about things, that are, there's a new discovery. Actually, the time on Earth is different than we thought, or whatever it is, and they're like, wait, what?
Nine things that will change the history, or like what I've been really getting into lately.
Yeah.
Because it is crazy that you started reading the Bible, reading scripture or whatever, because I've been getting into the Lion of Judah on YouTube, which is like, they break down, the actual meaning of words in the Bible, They look like, they go back to the Hebrew meaning, and then they break it down to like, take it to the Greek meaning, and they explain it to you like how it should be explained. It's like doing Bible study, but with the actual like imagery, and it just makes it so much more interesting.
I've been watching this one channel. It's called Thoughts on Thinking. What a YouTube channel name, right? And they will do explorations. Ooh, cupcake. Which one's mine? This one? Okay.
Oh, you're spoiled, man.
Thank you. I got a cupcake. That's awesome. This one too? Okay, thank you. Oh, it's yours? Okay. Go enjoy that. Ooh.
So are you into like Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, but I don't know if he did know anything or not. And none of us know. And I'm more excited by a guy that found a way to actually get rich and stay rich with his science. So like in a founding father, Benjamin Franklin is one I really love. I love that.
He was a man. He was the man. You know what I mean?
There's a bunch of guys out there, though. Now we have so many thinkers. So we are a society that's allowed to you could work like 4 hours a day as a professional that gets paid as a lawyer or something, and then you have 20 hours of the day left and you sleep 5, so now you got 15 hours a day, 360, 105 days a year plus weekends, to just sit and think about new things. And you're already an intelligent person, and you can make YouTube videos, you can write books, you can do all these things, right? So we have all these different deep thinkers out here, and they're kind of like lost in the vortex of society, right? But this guy, let me get at it. This guy, he'll go AI robots, black hole models, discuss about them and the Pied Piper. Then the next video will be like Carl Jung, the psyche, chakras, and Kundalini.
Who is this guy? You're not talking about Greg Braden, are you? Like the...
No, this guy's name is Thoughts on Thinking, right?
Yeah, I'm on it right now. Or not on that, but I didn't search for it.
Yeah.
You need to check out Greg Braden too, man. He's like
he has one called Gender Nihilism, and he basically starts the video and he basically says something like, in the grand scheme of things, dude, men and women, their gender is tied to their biology. You can't escape that, you know. And at the same time, there's this fluidity, and he goes and he basically discusses these things that, and he gets to a point where you get to a point and you understand what he's saying, and you go, how come there's so many people thinking about it this two different ways? You know, the right wing and the left wing way of thinking about gender. And how come we aren't like back where we used to be 40 years ago, where we think there's just a fluid line between being really masculine and being really effeminate for both girls and boys? There are some tomgirls, tomboys, whatever you want to call them. There's some tomboys out there, and there are some really effeminate men out there. And yeah, it's just, you're different. You don't have to change your sex just because you're different. Right. You know, like how come we think now that like you're having a dysphoria and you need to cut your penis off and grow boobs? Like where do we get there?
Yeah, it's
you know, and he gives you this thought process where you can kind of go, oh, we totally could be thinking about it somewhere in the middle, and we're totally not. We're totally going way too far in two different directions and not thinking about the reality of this. You know, the internal thoughts. You know,
being accepting of, whatever is in the first place wouldn't have caused it to go so far. Or I don't really know.
It's interesting.
I get what you're trying to say. I'm gonna definitely watch it.
It's interesting because it's like he says something along the lines of, he kind of says something along the lines of, all this dysphoria that we have with society, like Trump versus Biden, or Trump versus Hillary, has created kids watching this, and they don't see everything's so 50-50, look this way, look that way, that they think, oh, if I'm not a man, I must be a woman. Instead of like everybody having like discussions and be like, and understanding each other, and then
I get what you're trying to say.
And then the kid thinks, oh, well, I could just be a guy who cries. I accept that. I don't have to be, oh, I cry so much I must be a woman, because everything isn't so dysphoria. Everything isn't so totally opposite and so polar that everything that he thinks is a polar thought. Instead, it's like, think of yin and yang not as two separate things, but one part of one whole thing. And when you do that, you start to go, oh, I'm just a different shade of green, or a different shade of gray between black and white. You know.
I'm gonna tell you,
you
just about this thing I watched last night.
Yeah.
This Bible said you gotta check out Greg Braden, man.
Okay, I'm gonna write him down.
So, there was a drought in New Mexico, like a 5-year drought or something.
Okay.
And he had this buddy that was, he was Native American or whatever. And he asked him if he wanted to go pray for rain with him. You know what I mean? So they go and they hike like 140,000 acres onto this property or whatever, where there's this medicine circle.
Okay.
And the Native American takes his shoes off and he gets into the side of the circle and he closes his eyes and he sits there for about 5-10 minutes. And he turns around and says, "You ready to go get something to eat?" And the dude's like, "I thought you invited me here to pray for rain." He was like, "No, see, you're not supposed to ask for rain." What he did was he stood in the circle and he felt the rain, and it was there. Because when you ask the universe for something, it's like telling the universe that it's not present. You know what I mean?
Ah.
And the way they explained it was like there's this thin veil of the dimensions, where in that spot there was just a thin line in between dimensions, and being able to ask the universe for the rain and to feel the rain and to feel like the rain was actually already there.
If you think to yourself, "I wish I was faster," you're actually thinking to yourself, "I'm not
as
fast." But if you just think to yourself, "I am getting faster.
fast.
I am fast. I am getting faster," you'll find yourself winning races.
Yeah, it's crazy because
Exactly.
it's then they takes it to this that conversation. I mean that video goes to the next thing where he was talking about like self-healing and like there's this in China they got these non-medicine hospitals, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And these practitioners will practice this thing where they move the energy through your body, and they actually have this video. They're sitting there with with the thing they use to see the baby inside the woman. What do they call it?
Ultrasound.
Yeah, they got the ultrasound on her, and they can see the tumor in her liver or whatever. And they're moving this energy through her, and on the screen, you know what I mean, it slowly disappears. This guy's not trying to sell you nothing. This guy's not trying to he has no real motive behind why he's talking about what he's talking about. He just actually firmly believes that this stuff is real.
Yep.
And I believe it too, you know what I mean? Energy, it's amazing what people can do, you know what I mean? People don't realize their power and their abilities, you know what I mean?
I had a girlfriend, she was 9 years older, and it didn't work out, but I met her father, and I had a really good connection with her father. Her father had brain cancer multiple times, and he survived brain cancers that no one should ever survive. But when I asked him how and talked to him about it, he said, what I do is I imagine these dogs in my brain. They're like my power animal, and they're inside of my body. They're like pit bulls. And they just go to wherever the cancer is in my body, and they eat it. And they devour it. And it goes away. And I was like, oh shit. This guy has beyond... What's that called? When you... placebo? He's got placebo with the control button.
Yeah, like a remote control placebo.
When they say, when you pray, put your hands on people. All of you put your hands on her when you pray, and that will heal someone. That's the same idea as what this doctor's doing. He probably has a few other people in the room. They're all touching her and holding her down real gently with their hands, and he moves this item around. And next thing you know, it's gone because they're all thinking it's not there anymore. They're all thinking...
Exactly. That's another thing he said. When you have multiple people that believe the same thing you believe,
Yep.
Something's more likely to happen.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what
amazing.
It is. Yep.
It's amazing. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah, that's why I was saying the dude you got to check out, man, because it's not just that. He takes it back. Like, dude, it's the ancient aliens meets, you know what I'm saying, like the new age shit. You know what I mean? Which I'm not with anything that goes against God or Christ or whatever. You know what I mean? But I do believe in that we have abilities to use things that we don't know.
You know what? We were in a path to just keep learning everything about what he created when we were in the garden, and then we ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and we stopped learning directly from God. and we went on our own path of learning.
Enoch was the last one.
And that path is so slow. It's so slow because we're in this world of, like I said before, mirages and fantasy, and almost reality is now becoming mirages and fantasy. So it's really hard to see past it, and it's like it's almost like at some point when everything is communist, or everything is like what you think of the ideal of communism, where it's all under control by a certain person or group. Like the worst idea of communism, when everything is like that in every inch of the globe, that's when we've lost choice and God will come down.
It's already there. I mean,
it's getting close.
It's on its way.
Yeah,
it's getting. They're going to get you with the socialism first, slowly. Yep. You know what I mean? And then when we need them, you know what I mean? Like everybody needs them right now. You know what I mean? But when we absolutely need them, that's when, boom, communism.
Why do you think that we're not allowed to go to church right now? Because that's the easiest way to get us to go there without... I mean, if we could go to church right now, this pandemic would be over already.
The one thing that you got to know, that you have to know, is if it comes down to you have to get this or that to be able to trade or whatever, you know, Revelations, man.
Yep.
If it comes to that point, that's when you got to say nope.
Nope.
To suffer because that's the point, man. That's the Bible has predicted everything.
They'll use the security of your own children to get you to take the mark, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean everything though. To trade, to be able to travel, to be able to do anything, and you know what I mean. You'll have to have the mark or the chip or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean,
Elon Musk, what are you doing?
I see, and it's crazy because I like Elon Musk.
I do too. Yeah,
he's a genius. You know what I mean, the whole artificial intelligence thing, man. He's very intelligent, man, and he's got a lot of great ideas, but there are the things that he sees being great for the future are things that, you know, people can use against us.
Right. Exactly. One thing, my only sissy with him is that he's supposed to be bald. He's supposed to have bald pride, and he put hair transplants in.
You know what? My dad had them hair transplants up until last year, man. He finally shaved them all off. He shaved this shit off. I was like, I'm done with it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though? He ran away from having bald pride. I think that the smartest guy, Elon Musk, should have bald pride, and I should be able to identify with him fully. Instead, he's got this full head of hair because he wants to be Mr. Rich, good-looking Mr. Rich guy. And I'm like, damn it.
He could be Lex Luthor. He could be the actual Lex Luthor.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's going to be saving us from aliens.
Maybe he is an alien.
And maybe the Mark is believing in that one alien.
I hope not, man. I really hope the aliens don't have nothing. Because I was watching this thing on the New Age, you know, that New Age meditating and all that stuff. And there's this dude that was like trying to explain to us how the New Age is the devil trying to deceive you. Like he was all into the New Age.
It's very much so. It's very much so. When I had a biblical experience in April 16th, 2009, where me and a friend of mine, our bodies were overtaken. His body was completely overtaken by the Holy Spirit. He saw the Bible. He felt this need to pray, and so he went and grabbed his Bible. Even though it was upside down, he opened it up. The words were on fire, and he couldn't tell what was going on. It was just the whole thing looked like the words were all on fire, and he couldn't read them. Right? And so he sat down and he kneeled and he prayed and he's holding the book and he's writhing. And I come back inside. I'd been playing the drums and I was hot, so I went outside to cool down and I came inside. While I was playing the drums, I was thinking these chants to the devil, right? And obviously God didn't like that, so he came down, and when I was outside, he came to my friend. He took over his spirit and he was seeing tongues, right? On fire on the pages. And so he was freaking out, and he's a pastor's son. And he starts sitting down in my room and like praying with his eyes closed. And I go over there and I touch him, and instantly he came to life with the fire of Christ. He couldn't remember what happened from then on. He could only remember how it felt, because he already grew up with all the knowledge of the books, all the knowledge of Christ, and was taught every day about Christ, but he hadn't felt it. He hadn't felt it ever since he was a kid, being raised by a pastor. But I always felt it since I was 9 years old. But my mind was always convincing me that there's more to it. There's science, and science contradicts it, and I can't believe it with my mind. But I believed it with my heart. So in the shower, I pray and all this stuff. I touch him, and he tries to get me to yell, "I believe." And it took me like 10 times before I satisfied him. He sits down, and he says to me, "Who do you think I am?" And I go, "What?" I think to myself, "You're Josh." And he goes, "No." I didn't say anything. And he answered my thoughts. And he goes, "No. Who do you think I am?" And I think to myself, "Are you God?" And he goes, out loud, he goes, "That's right." And he leans back.
You know what's crazy? That I am thing is a big thing too.
And I'm like, whoa. And I go to myself, that makes no sense. Thinking to myself in my head, Josh is literally the stupidest person I've ever met, and you just took over to the dumbest person. And he goes, "This is my thought." And he laughs to my thought, and he goes, "That's my sense of humor." And I'm like, oh shit. And for an hour and a half, I had a discussion where I thought things in my head, and every single thought was answered out loud by Josh. I thought things, I wondered about the internet. He goes, "Nah, it's pretty much all bad. There's just a little bit of good here and there. It's going to be used for a lot of bad." That's
true, though.
I saw a picture of Bob Marley, and I went to tear it down. He goes, "Nah, Bob Marley's good." But everything's stolen in my room. He could tell what was stolen before. How did Josh know what was stolen before I even knew him? I'm 38 now. That was 11 years ago when I was 27.
This wasn't drug induced or nothing.
I smoked like a couple hits of weed, like a half an hour before. And
we talked about the weed thing. See, I believe you. I honestly believe you.
Yeah, and I've never done any other hard drugs. The hardest drug I've ever done is weed, and that was all it was. It was an hour and plus something after I smoked weed. I was playing the drums. There was no drugs involved. I was drinking Monster Energy drink from a can, so there was no drugs. It wasn't like there was some weird thing in our water and it got into both of us or something.
You're 38?
And you know what? There was a mentally handicapped person upstairs who for years had been mentally handicapped. He was 30-something years old, and he was still mentally handicapped since he was a child. And he went on to go get an AA and get married and have normal kids and have a normal life after this experience. And he was just upstairs, and he was changed. He was changed. I was changed. This guy who felt the Spirit went to school, became a pastor, has kids now. He was a kleptomaniac since he was 8 years old, and he hasn't stolen since.
That's amazing, dude. See, you had the positive reinforcement. See, how I became a believer was the negative. That was the negative. First, I mean, I was locked up the whole. You know what I mean? And
yeah. Oh, there's plenty of negatives that came too. And you know, I tried calling my brother in the middle of this, and when I went to pick up the phone and just went looking for the number from the other room, he goes, "He won't pick up." I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
So I called him, and he didn't pick up, and I was like, damn it. And then my brother saw that I called him, and my brother hadn't been over he hadn't been over to my house but one time before. And he saw that phone call, so he drove from where he was to where we were, and he knocked on the door 2 minutes or less after we ended our experience. We were hugging and crying, me and my roommate, who I'd known since 4th grade. He was our neighbor in Chelan, and he was living with me. We were hugging and crying. My brother knocks, and he's like, "What just happened? You guys okay?" And we explained it to him. He was like, "No way. You guys are saved now. It never happens at 2 at once," kind of thing. So, there's a lot of interesting things that happened. It's an hour and a half of interaction with the Holy Spirit, so there's a lot that went down. But
yeah, I had somebody. There's a lot of demons in jail.
Oh yeah,
Lot
I'm
of-
sure. I've been in there just for a couple days. It was crazy.
Yeah, I had one of them put a spell on me, man. Like I mean, and it's gonna sound crazy, but this happened. You know what I mean? I was just getting into like, I had a cellmate. One of my cellmates was very, very, you know what I mean? He was very religious. Like he fasted and everything, and like he would fast to talk to God and everything, man.
Yep.
And well, I go to church with him. I start going to church with him on Saturdays, and
Right there in the jail.
yeah.
Okay.
There's this guy. He's an awesome guy. He comes to the jail and he does his little, you know, sermons or whatever. But he's just so real about everything he says, and he, you know what I mean, he's not doing it to push nothing. He's just, that's who he is.
Right.
Well, anyway, there's this guy sitting behind me. I could feel him. You know how you can feel when somebody's looking at you.
Yeah. Yep.
And I guess he could tell that I was like transitioning into the Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? So I looked back at him and he like caught my eyes and he was mimicking everything that I would do. If I'd move my leg a certain way, he'd move his leg a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's immediately I get offensive. I go on the defensive, like I'm ready to fight, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I remind myself I'm in church, this is not the place. If I see him, I'll see him. Well, after that, he caught my eyes and was doing that, man, I couldn't stop thinking about the most negative thing. Like I would see like the dirt on the walls. It was like all I would notice was the dirt on the walls. I would notice the darkness of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my buddy was like, "Man, you got to pray. You need to pray." So I go in the shower and I'm praying. I go in the shower and I'm praying, man, and the light above me just got so bright. I'm talking about. It's like I couldn't explain it. Like it wasn't a light from the light. It was just like a flash of just pure light. And
I got a theory on why so many of us pray in the shower, by the way. It's because we're getting covered in the water. It's like a baptism.
Yeah, washing the sin off.
Okay, but you saw the light gets super bright. Sorry.
Yeah, the light got super bright, and instantly I was just, you know, I'd been in there, you know, five months at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with no sight of getting out. I mean, I didn't even go to court yet. I didn't have no bond. They said I was flight risk, all this other shit. And here where I'm at, man, it could be 2 years for you to get a real court date.
Fuck.
And I finally I got a lawyer change. And when I got the lawyer change, everything changed. But anyway, the light got really bright above me, and it's just instantly, I was able to do the rest of my time happy. And once I actually got comfortable and realized that I was there for a reason, you know what I mean? Like God was saving my life.
Your time came close to the end already then.
Yeah, dude. Everything was. It just all came around. Like next time I talk to my girl on the phone, she's telling me that I got lawyer change.
Yeah.
Then 2 days after, the lawyer actually comes to see me. It's the first time I got to see a lawyer the whole time I'm in jail.
Is that lawyer Christian, you think? Or a believer?
Yeah. He's definitely a believer, man. Me
Yep,
and him are
see?
actually we're good buddies. You know what I mean?
See? That's what it was. And
weird.
God knew where to put the men when it needed to happen.
Yeah, man. And it's weird because like all the negative shit that I had going on in my life before this,
Yeah.
it all hit at one time. Like everything came at once. You know what I mean? And I was faced with my final decision of which way in my life I'm gonna go.
Yep.
You know
You
what I
had
mean? Am I
that
gonna
choice.
be
You
negative?
had to make it.
Yeah, exactly. And when I seen the choice, I mean, all the things that were happening were confirmation of what I needed to experience to know that I'm a God-fearing man. You know what I mean? And anytime I start to stray away from it, you know what I mean? Anytime I start to stray away from it, man, it comes right back. Boom.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
like no, you know better than this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it shows itself. Like there's always a point where everything reveals itself. You know what I mean?
It's like if you're walking with your mom and she's holding your hand, you can look backwards, you can kind of sneak to the left, but at some point she's gonna pull you and jerk you and get you back in line. You know, when you're a little kid, it's like the same idea. It's like we're like these little kids, and if we go too far, he's just gonna pull us right back in because we're holding him in the heart. It's like almost like a electric fence, if you will, or what do you want to call it, perimeter fence. You can only go so far before. I mean, of course, we could keep going through the pain and go pick the devil again, but at this point, it's going to be a pretty dumb choice for us to do that. So.
Yeah, because we're chosen, man. We're chosen to do. We're chosen to be who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
like my grandfather was a pastor. You know what I mean? And all my families, they always say, man, you're gonna end up being a pastor. You know you're gonna end up. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because they all know I make gangster rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and they all know that my life experiences. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot of crazy things. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
at the end of the day, man, we're people who are chosen to be prophets. They are chosen to suffer and go through these things for a reason. That makes us the person we are. The power that we have comes from, you know what I mean, whatever we've seen in life, like that experience you had.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, you know,
I can see why I chose you to talk to too, because like, I mean, you are a very, you know, different individual. You're an individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Touche. I am. You know, one thing I noticed when I was having my discussion with him was that when I thought of something or questioned something like, is this good or is this evil? He kept kind of basically showing me the same thing. Even if it was a graphically generated, like a computer generated image of a scantily dressed person, like someone like in a string bikini, but it's like a anime computer generated image of this. So it's not like a true person that's like naked or something, but it's like a computer generated sexy picture, right? Even if I looked at that and I go, is it good or is it evil? He would basically show me it circled with 1,000 reasons of why it's evil. And don't worry, right there in the center, there's a way it can be used for good. All things can be used for good. Everything has this good intention or ability. But if you see it wrong, there's a million ways to use it bad. And the devil relies on those millions of ways to try and he knows which person will latch onto which one, and he tries to push that into your brain first. But if you are staying with me, you'll always see that good right in the center, and those other things will be irrelevant. And that kind of lines up with what you were experiencing after you had that person try to push evil into you, and then incite you, or demon, or whatever it is, and try to latch into you, and the devil tried to latch into you. And for those moments before you asked him again in the shower, you were seeing the negative, just the negative. You couldn't even see the good. You were just seeing the negative, and everything was riling you or angering you inside, you know? And there was no positivity to the things, anything that you were experiencing, until you got back to him and he put him inside again. Yep. And him as priority.
And it's crazy because the emotion you feel when you feel the spirit, it's nothing else, bro. There's a reason why everybody breaks down in tears once they've met the spirit, once they've actually felt the spirit.
It's heavy. It's
heavy. Every single person that's ever had that experience starts bawling their eyes out for a minute. You know what I mean? Because the emotion just overflows when you.
Yeah, we cried for like 2 minutes after that. We just hugged and cried, and it was like, you know, two guys just hugging and crying that barely ever did that kind of stuff. You know, we're just sitting there hugging and crying, and then my brother knocks on the door, and we answer the door, like tears in our eyes, and he's like, "What? What are you guys both crying? Like, you guys are two macho guys. What's happening here?"
Yeah.
And he'd already been saved. He'd already been saved a few years before, you know, so he was like, just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. This, you know, for him.
He didn't scoff at you or nothing, because, you know, when them people that scoff at these type of things, you know that's the devil, you know what I mean?
Oh, man. Some of my best friends back then at the time, people I was smoking weed with, people I was hanging out with, drinking, smoking weed, doing party nights, all that stuff. I would tell them the story, and they would rather have didn't believe that. The person who everything they said I was like a person in their life who everything I said was mysterious and wonderful, and they were like, oh my gosh, like you're saying, this guy's so unique, and everything he says is like a profound thing, and it's so amazing just having conversations with him. Invite him over every day. He can tell us things we've never heard before while playing guitar and just chilling there on the couch high as a kite.
So cool.
That guy's awesome. And then I go and I tell them about the spirit, and they're like, you must have been on drugs.
Exactly.
You're ridiculous. You're on drugs. Why would you even say this to us? I'm like, dude, I'm saying this to you because I love you. And those people still this day don't believe. They're still
That's
trapped
crazy.
in some other place. They don't even want to be my friend anymore.
You know what it is, man? A lot of people, man, they just, everybody has to have their own experience, man.
Yep.
And if
Yep.
they don't go with God, then they gotta go their path. They gotta take their path. You know what I mean?
Yep. So you can't make a good man, a bad man, a good man. A bad man can become a good man, but you can't make him a good man. You can only show him your example, be a light on the hill. And I always think of myself as, maybe someday I'll be singing the gospel to people and stuff like that. But right now, I'm just talking the gospel to these people. I feel like most of the people that hear me, that don't want to hear me, are people that are way, way down in a trench. There's some guys that are lights on a hill, they're like the mountaintop next to the city, where people are just somewhere between God and the devil. And it's like, no, man, I'm talking to people who were like literally getting butt fucked by the devil right now. I'm talking
What did you think about that Ezekiel?
The movie?
I mean, no, the Ezekiel, the verse out of the Bible that you were reading the other night or yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Which one?
You were reading about about God coming down and
Was that-
the four beasts.
That's
What is
Revelations.
he?
Revelations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ezekiel, he talks about the same thing.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
I mean, the circles. My bad. But anyway, what do you think about that, man? Like,
The throne in heaven?
yeah, not that, but the actual
Well, that's
The
that's what it's
experience.
called. That part's called throne in
Yeah.
heaven, where they're the seven beasts, the 24 other thrones, the throne that God is in, the Lamb.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
the wheels, and the all that. It almost
interesting.
sounds like an interdimensional being, almost, or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I have a grandpa who talks a lot about it, and I have a grandpa and his son, who's my mom's one sibling below brother. His name is Charles, and my grandpa is Lloyd. My mom is Jolene. So, Lloyd, my grandpa, and Charles, my uncle, they both previously studied the Bible in Greek in their life when they were younger. And they both really focus on the Bible in different ways. If you talk to my uncle Charles, he could basically tell you anything in the Bible and how it relates to the lost here on earth. But if you talk to my Grandpa Lloyd, he'll basically tell you he's basically telling you every day how the end of times are coming and why he thinks so. And when I think about that, I think about it's like something that's too hard for us to understand. So it's described in a way that we almost can't rationalize.
yeah.
and-
Plus, if you're with God anyway, you don't have to worry about that type of stuff because it's not really going to pertain. I mean, the struggle is going to happen. It's going to, the things that come with it comes with it. And when it happens, it
Yeah,
happens.
my grandpa shares it like this. He's thinking, I want you in heaven when I'm gone. So, and I want your kids to be there too, and all my grandkids. He's got 9 kids, and I've got 30-something cousins, all on that side. And then he's got like 5 brothers and sisters, and they got a bunch of kids. And he knows we have this huge family, right? Thinking to himself, and he's got a dead wife. He's got a wife that's left him. He's got ex-wives. He's got kids with those ex-wives. There's an aunt of mine that's 13 years younger than me. He's got all of these people splayed all across the earth. And he just wants every single one of them to be in heaven. He wants every single one to be in heaven. So he says these things because he thinks it's the warning we need to make sure that we try to bring all of our kids with him and with us to heaven. So he's kind of like saying, make sure you are right and it's in your heart, and that you teach it to be in your heart, because I want to see you guys all there. I don't have enough time in my life to experience all of you guys here and now. There's not there's no man with enough energy, even if he's got as much energy as me at 88. He doesn't have the time and fortitude to.
It's not possible.
Yeah, it's not possible. There's 36 of us, cousins, and we're having kids and we're busy and we're in our own lives. How can he interact with all of us? So he just wants us all to be saved. He also has the raunchiest sense of humor, though, too. And it's almost like a turnoff, but at the same time, it helps remind you that even the raunchiest of us, and even when we're in our we're having dark thoughts, that we could still be with the Spirit. The thoughts don't matter all the way. It's the actions.
What I really want to, the question about Ezekiel or whatever.
Yeah.
What I really was leading up to was Enoch. Have you ever did any research on Enoch?
Probably because I've read the whole Bible like 5 times. So
that's the only book that's not in the Bible. That's the book that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, I've read a bunch of things that are lost pages, lost chapters. Yeah, I've read a bunch of lost books. Enoch is not in the Bible. You're right. I was just reading something from it the other day. I have a quote. It's in my phone. What is it?
Enoch was the man that lived forever because he walked with God, and God decided to take him with him.
What was it that I wrote somebody else from Enoch? I gotta look and see who I wrote. Okay, I wrote this. I wrote this. Where is it? If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And that's from Enoch.
Yeah, Enoch was. It's crazy they left him out of the Bible because his whole story is like, it's what really opens your mind like to everything, because the giants, the Nephilims, and all that. All that's in the book of Enoch, and he was the great builder. You know what I mean? But he walked with God, and God took him with him. God took him off of earth with him.
I think it's because they couldn't foresee us discovering DNA, and for some reason they thought this was like this is a past that we destroyed that they'll never know. These giants, these angelic beings, we destroyed them. They'll never know this. They knew at the time the history, but they thought to themselves, this history will be lost. It's already becoming lost. If we put this in the book, it will take away from their ability to believe. And they didn't realize that at some point we're going to have mitochondrial DNA that's going to say we also came from Neanderthals. Wait, what? There's 7 species of us? What?
Yeah, and the fact is that the Great Flood did happen. You know what I'm saying? Enoch was alive before the Great Flood, and Enoch was alive after the Great Flood, but he wasn't on Earth during the Great Flood. Like he wrote so many books. See, there's a theory that all his books are in the Pyramid of Giza. The big pyramid that they still haven't figured out all the rooms or whatever. There's a theory that he actually built those pyramids. You know what I mean? Like I know that they say that the king or whatever, the emperor, whoever built them, but the knowledge had to have come from something else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. A lot of what we look at shows that. Do you think he built them before the flood?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he built them before the flood. I think he might even use them to travel into space. I don't know about that 100%, but...
Well, see, what I think is I think that, before the flood, Egypt was probably just covered in trees and it was green.
Yeah.
And after the flood, now it's the reason why it's a desert now is because that's sand from being underwater, you know what I mean? Things over time. Then the water dried up, and just like how the polar ice caps are going to melt, and by the end of my lifetime, half of Florida is going to be underwater.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, because they got there's another pieces about to break off.
But they said that when we got to remember that they said that in the mid '90s. That in 12 years, and then now it's been 25 and nothing's even changed. So it's like a half an inch.
True. But see, we're losing more now than ever too, and we are starting to see differences in the weather. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we're having less winter, like even here. Like it took so long for it to get cold.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, it's colder than hell. You know what I mean? But still, we'll have warm days when there shouldn't be warm days. You know what I mean?
Right. I did a lot of hiking. My grandpa, not Grandpa Lloyd, but my Grandpa Burns, the other side, my dad's dad, he was a ranger, and he was really into being out in nature. Hunter, that's where that pelt came from that I wore yesterday, and stuff like that.
Cool.
And
I meant to ask you, was he hunting that fox?
Yeah, he shot it.
I know he shot it, but was he hunting fox or was he?
Yeah, he had a fox tag. He had an elk tag. He went out to Mount McKinley for 30 days with a tag for anything that you might find on Mount McKinley.
Okay.
Had his gun. He built an igloo for meat and an igloo for himself.
That's awesome.
Would go on hikes, and when he shot stuff, he started packing the igloo. The tail.
See, that's another thing that's getting lost.
You know why there's no tail on the fox? Because when he went to the airport to fly out of where he was to go to a place where they could have taxidermy done, squirrels got into the meat and the carcasses on the tarmac, and he pulled out his gun and shot at them on the tarmac.
It must have been like a more private airport.
Yeah, it was just like a prop plane going out to the regular airports, and he's out there and they're loading it up, and they're halfway done loading, and he goes in to get coffee or something and come back out there, and there's squirrels getting into it, and he's like chipmunks or whatever, and he's like ta 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 with his handgun to scare them the hell off.
That's amazing.
And he was warranties guy at Boeing. He wasn't going to shoot the plane, so
yeah,
just made a few shots to get him to run away.
Have you seen this thing about China losing all their food and all that, all their crops and all that, being underwater and all that shit?
Oh man, they had such horrible floods this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this big every now and then you'll hear people freaking out about how there's gonna be a food shortage or whatever. And,
they get a bunch of their food from Australia, and
we're eating GMOs already over here.
Yeah,
everything's cloned meat anyway. But I was thinking about starting a garden and stuff, man. Just what I mean.
I think GMOs are God's product.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. That's me. I'm scientifically background, biochemistry background, physics background. I think that's God intends for us to fix things and manipulate things on this earth and to make them better.
You just made me feel so much better about
I feel
that.
like there's a part of the Bible that says everything in the market is safe to eat.
Huh.
Yeah, I could find it and send it to you sometime.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Because when I talk to some people, they're like, it's one chromosome away from being plastic or some shit. It'll freak you out. You know what I mean?
Way,
It'll
man.
freak you out.
They're like literally going like, hey, I saw that this gene made the thing grow 12 nodes of, 12 nodes of whatever where the grapes grow. And this makes it grow 6. How do we make it always grow 12? Let's look back and forth, and then they find 3 to 10 different ways to make it grow 12 nodes in the genes, and they try all of them, and then they grow them up in the fields. This is what my friend does. He does it for a living, right? They grow them up in the field in eastern Washington. They grow these things, and they go and they study them, and they go, which one's doing better? Oh, this one. And they find that the fruit is no different. It's just the code that says grow a node so there's more fruit. You know?
It's just DNA. It's like changing the DNA of it. I've seen something last night. I was watching something about how
our body doesn't process it any different. Our body processes it exactly the same. It shits 90% out and takes the vitamins out of it. And the vitamins are just as real as the nutrients in the ground as long as the nutrients are there. Now, if you're in a Michigan area and they're selenium deficient, they got to add selenium to have that be in your food, to the soil. Whether it's a chemical version.
What is selenium? What is that? What is it?
I'm just saying like a random, let's say sodium. There has to be salt. There can't be too much. It will keep it from growing. But there has to be a certain amount of sodium. Has to be a certain amount of potassium. A certain amount of magnesium, manganese. All these things. There's like 50-something elements. Every single one of them has to be present in microscopic copper, gold, silver. Has to all be in the soil for you to get that nutrients into your body. And the way they do that is by taking a chelatable, or piece that can be broken down by the roots and sucked up into the plant, a version of the nutrients. They'll use iron, zinc, all these other things to make it chelatable, right? Chemicals. The chemical doesn't get taken up. The chemical does, but it's not the chemical of the metals that they use gets taken up. If they use ethanol or whatever to break these things down, that does not get taken up to the plant. The plant does not use ethanol. It uses the manganese. It takes the manganese up, and everything else goes out the stomata. Just like us, it takes in what's good, keeps what it needs, and shits out the rest. We do the same thing. We're only gonna use exactly what we need, and we're gonna shit out the rest. It's gonna be brown. It's gonna go mix with the Billy Rupins and turn into brown shit in the toilet bowl. It's not plastic. Now, if you have rotini that you got from the frozen section, and you heat that up, you just poke a couple holes in the plastic and you heat that up in your microwave for 45 seconds. The people who make plastics only got caught for one chemical, but there are 50, 60 something chemicals that leach out of plastic, and they're all known to cause cancer, and they're still there. And breast cancer is the most obvious one. Women who drink bottled water have a higher rate of breast cancer, because cancer is caused by the chemicals in plastic. And plastic will deposit more plastic into your food. So if you eat hot food out of plastic, you're going to get plastic in your body. If you eat hot food out of glass, then you're not going to get glass in your body. And even if you did, you'd shit it out and it wouldn't change your hormone production. But plastic will sit in you forever. You don't know how to process it out, and it will stay in your hormone, and it affects your hormones. Plants don't take plastic up. You could literally take bags and bags of plastic.
So like TV dinners are like the worst fucking
TV
thing
dinners
ever.
are like the worst. Anybody who said that to you was probably right.
I mean, nobody's ever said that, but now I know. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't really usually eat TV dinners and all that shit, but
Yeah, you'd be better off to get like the chicken that they heated up in the fryer in the back, that's sitting in the thing, the plastic container, and then take it and cook it in your oven for a few minutes and just on a plate, and then you'd avoid it all. The hot water that sat in your car for 2 weeks and it tastes nasty. Tastes nasty because you're tasting plastic.
oh god, that's gross.
That's plastic in your water.
I got a whole case of water sitting next to me right now, a bottle of water. It's like you just fucked my whole.
I haven't drinking water in over 4 years.
Dude, that's crazy because
I don't drink
I forget
water.
to drink water sometimes, and my muscles will actually I'll have muscle spasms. It's not.
I never
I'll
had a
dehydrate
cramp.
myself.
I never have a cramp until I drink too much water.
That's crazy.
It's like it's trying to flush out my salt system. I'm running on metals. I read a research
I've been
paper.
drinking soda.
I've been
drinking soda every day for fucking 10 years.
We're like 90% water or something like that, or 80% water, or 70% water, or whatever, right? But if you take the water away, we're 99% metals.
That's crazy. I mean,
Metals
that
like
makes sense, though,
sodium
because
is a metal,
we're the same thing,
manganese
the
is a
world's
metal, potassium is a metal, phosphate is a metal. All those things that are nutrients, they're all metals.
That's crazy.
We live on metal and water, and we need the balance of water to allow the metals to work. And the metals, we're robots. We're robots. We're made of metal.
We're computers. Our brains are computers.
We send signals through the metals in our body, bleep, bleep, bleep,
Yeah.
bleep, bleep, in our brain.
This is true.
All that conduit, it's all built with metal. We eat metal. We eat plants that deposit metal in ways that we can chelate them into our body. We chew and masticate and mix them with fluids, and then our body uses fire, just like the plants do from the sun, to break things down. We use hot, crazy chemistry inside of our body to break things down, and then we just keep the metal and shit everything else out.
Something I gotta ask you, man.
Yeah.
Because this is another thing that I've been. I did a bunch of research on it or whatever not too long ago. But DMT.
Yeah. What about it? From frogs.
Have you? Yeah, plants make it too, like roots and stuff.
Yeah. Very, very small levels.
Yeah, but I've learned how to extract it and how to actually like make it or whatever. I haven't. You know what I mean?
There's a
Just out of
guy.
curiosity.
There's a guy that did a video recently on YouTube, and he went to the big DMT place where these guys are, expressing frogs, and they're all DMT heads. They all love it. They think it's the best thing
Talking
in the
about
world.
Joe Rogan or whatever.
Not Joe Rogan. No. It's this. He does these. I wish I know if I go on my YouTube, I won't find him fast enough to keep talking about him. But he's a guy. He works for Vice magazine, and he did these exposés on different drugs. He did one on DMT, and he basically said, if you were told that you didn't have to harm frogs and express them to get the stuff out, and you could make DMT, would you try it? Would you use it that way? And they would go, what about all the organic stuff that's in there? And then he's like, it doesn't has nothing to do with the high. The high is in the DMT. What if you could not endanger a species that produces this?
You can.
And you could just literally create it. And he went to a lab and a bunch of scientists, and he found a way to create it. And he has a book that it was the original book was how to get the frogs, right? And in the very end, and he adds this book, and they started putting it out, this pamphlet or whatever, because this guy who made the book originally, he's getting close to being on his deathbed. He's got Parkinson's, and he's in a home now, and he made the pamphlet that would put everybody onto DMT way back in like the 70s or early 80s, right? And
have you ever done it though?
No, I haven't.
All right, I haven't either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll probably do it someday.
Everybody sees the same thing, dude. And you can get it from out of ayahuasca. Like you can take an ayahuasca root, right?
Right.
And you can break it down with vinegar.
Yeah.
And then you can take one of those chemicals you were just talking about, the very flammable one that starts with the E.
Ethanol.
Yeah, you can take ethanol and you can put the ethanol on top of the broken down root after it's been broken down by vinegar and all that. You take the ethanol, put it on top of it, and it'll put the DMT on top of it. I mean, you just suck the DMT out and then you freeze it. And it's very easy to make, very, very easy to make. You mean you just gotta buy ayahuasca off online or whatever.
Yeah. I'm too nervous to do that. I'd rather I would rather
get the chemical made version too, like the actually made in the lab.
I'd rather have like a friend like try it and who's done it before, kind of like I did with acid, and like have him do it, and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's good. Here's your portion."
Yeah. I love acid. I ain't gonna lie, I love it. I haven't done it in a long time, but I love it.
Like my friend, he goes, "Chris, you could be really bad on acid, or you could be really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find acid that's like happy acid." And then when I have it, when I find it, I'm gonna get a bunch of it, and then on a really, really good positive day, I'll like hand you a sugar cube and you can have it. And it was like one show we were playing in our garage with a bunch of people were coming. He decided, oh hey, I got the stuff for you. Here it is. Yeah, I know you're in the middle of a show, but by the time you're done playing, it'll be kicking in. And I took it right there in the middle of the show, and yeah, that was kind of like having a friend to make sure that I did the right kind, the right way, at the right time.
Yeah.
And I had a friend.
DMT only lasts for a couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not detectable by any conventional drug detection systems. So,
right. Your body makes it. Your body makes it
right.
too.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to really be flagged for it. It's like already in you.
Yeah.
Would I do it?
Definitely gonna try it too.
Maybe I would do it. I'd probably do it when I'm 50, 10 years from now or something. But
yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it myself one day.
I kind of like to have a thing where maybe when I'm 70 I'll try heroin. Like I'll pace it all out. Like I'll pace it all out. I'll like go get a needle.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'll get like the best stuff. I'll go get a needle. I'll cook it up. I'll throw away all the rest.
You're tripping.
I'll throw away all the rest, and then I'll shoot up. Like I'll go take a long drive to somewhere else and like, shoot up, and then just relax and like, yeah, it's my 70th birthday. And then
look, I agree with all the other stuff, but don't do that one, dude. Don't do that.
Well, I like to tell that as the example to be extreme, but you know what I mean. Like I'll just try them one at a time, like slowly over my life, and just two, and not
Maybe on your deathbed. Maybe on your deathbed with that last one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe I'll be like, oh man, Your heart, he's like, your heart's gonna go out at any time. I'm like, I'll pull out this little baggie
some heroin.
and I'll unzip it, and they'll be like, what the fuck's that? I'm like, I've been saving this for 20 years.
Oh my god, dude.
Something like that, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Something like that.
See, oh man, that just killed me. That just killed me. That shit was too funny, man. Oh man.
We got a bunch of people talking on here. We have Tin Man. We got Tin Man says Elijah, Enoch, and Jesus in the history of ascension. Joey Esther's got a bunch of quotes. Tin Man had said something like Enoch and several other books that his pastor reads it on Saturdays and Sundays in service as well. And he said, you ever been to Roanoke, Virginia?
Nah, but I've heard about it. Is it Roanoke's where all them people disappeared, right?
I don't know. He might tell us now. But
It was an island. It was an island or something, right? And the whole inhabitants like just disappeared.
I know there's a street called Roanoke in Seattle, and if you take the Roanoke exit, you can avoid the whole merging across all of I-5 to get into Seattle, and then just take the Roanoke exit, come back onto I-5, and then just take the next exit, and you're in downtown Seattle, and you avoided all this crazy merging. I know that, but I don't know.
You know John Riley? You see John Riley in the comments. You know him?
John Riley.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. He's a real motherfucker. Him and DK both. They're both cool motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, they both are. John Riley, I know I see him on here. It's probably been a little while since he's been on here, and I'm just spacing out now. I'm like, oh yeah, John Riley. Where's he been?
This dude Ronaldo, man, he's always talking shit, man. Hey, fuck you, buddy. I always tell him. I always make sure I tell him. You know what I mean?
He wants me to what? Right here? Oh, I'm not gonna watch a video. I'll do it after I'm done with the vlog. Sorry, no. Everyone's disrupting. People don't realize. I wish like the people in my house realized what I'm doing when I'm doing the vlog. Like I almost can't interact with the world behind me. It's like too much. It's overwhelming. It's like I'm in the middle of a vlog, and then an interview one like this needs to not be happening in the middle of an interview vlog. My wife can't respect it.
Hey man, I know. Literally right before you called me, I was telling my girl, I was like, you don't take nothing serious. Like I'm literally getting ready to do this thing. Like leave me the fuck alone. Like, but I mean, I love
wait,
them.
what? She playing with your belt buckle and messing with your fly, and you're like, dude, come on, we're supposed to be having a conversation.
I wish. We're supposed to. See, if she would have got down here a little earlier, that would have happened. But
go isolate yourselves in the closet. Thank you. Talking to my kid.
Yeah, my girl finally got that damn what's that?
Bye, guys.
What time is it over there? What time is it where you're at? It's like you're like 4 hours behind me.
8 minutes till it's Thursday.
8 minutes to what?
11:52.
Okay.
What time is it over there? 3?
3, yeah.
Shit.
And it's cool, you know what I mean?
We've been talking for 2 hours. We obviously could talk all day long, so.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I was thinking, man, like, I'll get some DMT and bring it out there, man.
I take it and it lasts like fucking 3 hours. You're like, shit, dude, you all right? And like 3 hours later, I'm just sweating. I'm like, fuck, what was that? Where was I?
Apparently, everybody sees the same shit, man. Apparently, it's like...
Yeah, close your eyes and press really hard on your eyelids. That's what you see. Same thing.
Well, I don't know about that. But...
No, you know what I mean? Like the vision of that you get when you close your eyes and you press on your eyelids.
Oh, yeah.
Like lights moving or whatever.
The explosion.
Yeah, the explosions. It's the same thing as that. Just more vivid.
I'm gonna find out eventually one day. I mean, I don't have no, you know, I mean, plan on doing it, but eventually someday.
I did salvia. You ever do that?
Oh yeah,
I did that,
dude.
I imagined. I look down at the table. I see first everything goes black, and then it's like my eyes opened again, and I look down at the table, and I see a Berenstein Bear's book, just one head of a Berenstein Bear, and it folds to two heads, which turns into the brother and the sister, which folds into four heads, which turns into the mother and the father and the brother and the sister.
Were you laughing while this was happening?
I'm just like going, wait, what? And I got my drummer friend, he just did it, and we had to like wrangle him in. He was trying to go outside. He really wanted to see what it was like outside. And we weren't letting him because we didn't know, we could barely maintain the guy. He's strong, right? And he's short and he's fast, and he was like ducking underneath of us. We're like, dude, you're just standing in the garage. And then he's like, whoa, what happened? And then ever since that, for like months, he was telling me about it. Oh, it was so important. I'm like, dude, that's not what was happening in our perspective. But okay, that's what happened for you. But for me, I had the Berenstein Bears unfold until it unfolded into a map, until it unfolded so big that everything was a plastic sheet. All the people that were in the two people that were in the room with me and all the items, they were just all a plastic sheet over our souls. Even the inanimate objects had souls. And it was like a giant map. The whole world is just covered in plastic, and the life is underneath the plastic, and this plastic is fake, and the real thing is underneath of there, and we can't see it in reality. And I'm like, why can't I just, like, there's this house we have that's 150 miles away from where I lived at the time, and it's my parents' vacation house, and I'm like, why can't we just go to Chelan right now, be there? I'm like, I don't understand. If everything's just this plastic, why can't we just teleport? What the fuck? Why can't we teleport? And by the time it ended, I was just like, dude, I gotta go to bed. I just drove off and went home and went to bed.
Oh,
I'm like, this is too much. This is too much, you guys. I can't even think of reality right now. I just need to go sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I talked to them tomorrow, and they were like, that was so profound. That was so profound. I was like, dude, I couldn't even teleport when I wanted to. And everything was plastic, and then I just wanted to go to bed. I don't know what you guys are talking about, same as it was yesterday. Fuck that, I want to go to bed. I don't want to do that again.
Me and my cousin were in Ocean City when I did it, right? And we were going on the boardwalk, and we stole a different kind of salvia from just about every shop, you know what I mean? And we were like 15. And well, I smoked it in front of the ocean, dude, and all I seen was a Louis Vuitton desert.
Whoa,
like
the symbols on it?
Yeah, it was just like the ocean turned to desert, and it was just Louis Vuitton symbols for miles.
I did mushrooms two times. First time I did mushrooms, it was like just 2 sips of a tea, and he goes, try this tea, my friend does at this party where I'm just about to play a show. And I'm like, I take a sip, I take a big sip. He goes, whoa, that was a lot. And I go, well, it's just tea. He goes, yeah, it's mushroom tea. I go, what the fuck? Why'd you have me drink mushroom tea?
Didn't even know you were
I don't even do drugs, dude. What the fuck?
Oh
and he's like, well, you already did mushrooms now. And I like go to the bathroom, I try and vomit. And I go and I play the show.
That makes it worse, dog.
I didn't know. And I go and I play the show. And then the show ends and we're like breaking the gear down, right? And I can hear everyone's voice in the whole room. And they're all talking about how much they hate me. I'm like, oh fuck. This is not good. Everybody hates me. They're just all jealous. I'm thinking to myself, they're just jealous. And I was like, what the fuck? Don't do that to me again. So then, like many years later, my friend, he tries mushrooms. He calls me on it. He's like, man, I've just been staring at this bush for like 3 hours. You gotta try mushrooms with me sometime. You gotta try mushrooms. I'm like, no, I'm never gonna do them again. And later we're in Chelan, then that place I was telling you about, my parents' vacation house. It's 4th of July. And he's like, there's fireworks tonight. Let's do mushrooms before the fireworks. I got this bag. We'll split it 50-50. We'll get a 20-ounce hot water at Starbucks each. And we'll put $10 in yours and $10 in mine. Mix it around. He drinks half of his. I'm like finishing all of mine. I'm like looking around for more. And I drink all of his. He's like, what the fuck? You drank all of mine? You were not supposed to even finish yours. These are super strong. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. We go downtown. And the big fireworks that are in the sky like you get during the football games goes for like 20 minutes when we're down there. I'm laying in the grass with people 2 feet away from me, like 4 or 5 different families, and I'm starting to feel nauseous. And the fireworks haven't even started yet. And I'm like, oh, man. And he's like, dude, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling so good. He's like, oh, man, you're okay. And he's interacting with me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, dude, I'm going to be sick. He's like, dude, go to the bathroom. It's right there. I'm like, I can't get up. He's like, go to the bathroom. It's just right there, dude. The bathroom's just right there. It's literally like 10 feet behind me. I could just go to the bathroom and just throw up in the bathroom. But I'm like, no, I don't want to. So I take my fucking shoe off. I take off my shoe and I vomit into my shoe and fill it. And he's like, he looks back at me and he just immediately turns away and puts his hand over to the side of his head. Like, I'm not looking at you. I don't know you. You're gross.
Why would you do that?
So then I just put my shoe back on. And this vomit just goes squirting out. And he's like, oh, gross. And he starts scooting away from me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, my foot's all wet. He's like, that's disgusting. And then the fireworks start going off. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
Oh, no. And every firework that goes off, it's a red one. I'm crying red jewels into my hand and collecting these jewels. I'm like, you guys, we're rich. We're rich. They're like, dude, shut up. Dude, shut up. Shut up, dude. Dude, I got all these diamonds. They're like, shut up. We got to get them out of here. They had to get me out of there because it was too public.
Took you into public after that. Oh my god! Did you have the epiphany come down? Like I got to change my life come down?
I was with this guy and my girlfriend at the time. She still had kids with me after that.
Oh shit! Look, the last time I did mushrooms, I moved to Georgia.
Damn, you moved back to Georgia.
Yeah, it wasn't because of it was just like both times I've done mushrooms they were amazing times, you know what I mean? They were excellent, but every time I come down, every single time I mean, don't get me wrong, you go through your positive and your negatives when you're on shrooms, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At one point I was afraid of the dark, you know what I mean? At one point I didn't want to go into the bathroom because it had this 70s wallpaper and it was like spitting when I was in there, and I was like, nah, I ain't going in there. But fucking every time I come down, I'm like, man, I gotta change my life, man. I ain't living right. I moved to fucking Georgia.
Yeah, dude. Well, you come down and you're like, oh, fuck. How do I not do that again? Or you're like, oh, fuck. You know, you just... For a lot of us, it's not... You either realize you're gonna keep doing this, it's gonna be a bad path, or... I don't know. There's just a lot of variables that come into play from the come down from that. For me, I was only going to do it one time for real, right? Ever. Just like everything else, I was just going to try it one time, and that was my one time. That second time, so I might as well have drank in that other half, right? But the first time, I literally was poisoned at a party by a friend I'd known for years. He's like, here, let's have some tea. I can see you're thirsty. Okay, yeah, I'm loading all this gear in. Why don't I take a sip? He's like, why'd you drink so much, dude? That's mushroom tea. It's like, what the?
You threw up in your fucking shoe and put it back on.
Dude, I still have that shoe. I still wear it. It was a yellow and black Adidas Samba collector's edition. I wasn't going to get rid of it.
Hell no. Damn, you got some good sneakers, huh?
Yeah, I got a nice collection of Sambas over here. I got these ones right here I just bought, and they're like brand new, and I'm not gonna wear them. They're like a 10-year-old, they're like a 12-year-old pair. They came out like 12 years ago, and I found a new pair of them in my size online on eBay, and I bought them up, and then I'm not gonna wear them until I get to go back to Boeing. They're just sitting here waiting for my first day back at Boeing. If that's a year from now, I don't know how long that is, but whenever I get to go back.
Are they paying you? Are they still paying you?
What happened is, because I'm on disability, I'm getting $300 a week disability, medical disability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'd be going for that unemployment if I was you.
Well, unemployment.
You can still collect it. You can still collect some of it if you're not collecting the national or the rate that you're supposed to make. You know what I mean?
No, I can't collect unemployment because I'm still employed by them.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, even if my income's zero, I'm
so
still
you get
employed.
Disability and you're employed?
No, I'm employed and I get disability.
Oh, they're paying the disability.
They're paying the disability. Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
I thought at first I don't know why I thought you meant the government.
It's actually considered medical leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on medical leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Temporary disability medical leave through the company.
That's dope, though. That's cool.
And they paid for the insurance, paid 100% of every meeting. And
Are you making half what you made when you were actually working, or like
dude,
3/4?
not even close.
Yeah, I figured.
I made thousands of dollars a month, and I'm making.
I remember when you first got the
1,200.
job, we had talked on the phone for maybe like 30 minutes not so long ago. When you first started working there, I think.
Yeah, I started working there. I went to 17 weeks of training in the Way North location, which was like 2.5 to 3 hours of driving a day, plus the 8-hour day, plus the half an hour walk into the center of the building because it's the world's largest building, and the half an hour walk back to my car. Like 1.7 miles to get from my car to where I was training, just into the building, right?
You got a bachelor's or something, like degree?
I got an AA in electronics.
Okay.
So not a bachelor's. I got a
What does AA mean?
Associates of
Associates,
Arts and Science. So an AAS in electronics, which is like the laws of how electronics works and basic programming and stuff like that. And then I went to work for companies that built test equipment for Boeing. So I was familiar with the different kinds of connectors and all that kind of stuff. And then I got hired at Boeing, and I was supposed to be doing the wiring for the wheel well on the 737 Maxes, but it was really slow there. Then when COVID hit, they were going to do layoffs. So to save me from getting laid off, they sent me to the Seattle Delivery Center, where they put the planes before the people take them to whatever airline takes them to wherever place they're based out of. So if Delta would have an executive and a pilot come, and they'd be like, thanks for this plane that you built for us. They'd inspect it. They'd be like, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, and we'll take it in 4 hours. And then go to a lunch, and they'd come back, and the Seattle Delivery Center technicians would have fixed it. So I went there, and they had they had 50 737s on the ground there, the Maxes that were grounded, that needed updates from the FAA. Basically, they needed a wire moved from one bundle to another. So you had to take that wire, cut it at both ends, and tuck it back with heat shrink on it, and then put a new wire in that was in a different bundle and slide it through, and just go to each zip tie and slide it through, and then add that wire and connect it to the 2 different spots. You had to take
that'd be considered low voltage, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing connected, and the plane's not on, and you battery.
Oh, okay.
You take the battery out, you take all the things out, and that's called a lockout. So you do a lockout. Then when the lockout's out on the plane, then you're allowed on the plane. Then I go and I take the cargo apart. I take that wire, I cut it. I do the new wire. I put the cargo back. I do the connections at the ends. They have an QCs come inspect at all these different stages, and then we go up into the cockpit and we test it. And we run through all these tests, and that's what I was doing. Then they sent me to Moses Lake, where they had 250 more of these planes that were grounded, and I got like 10
So
in.
you're updating all of them.
I got 10 in, and I bumped into something, and that's where I am now. Yeah.
So the main question is did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, and I was good at it, and I was very proficient. I was like the best guy at it. I was so effective at it that I moved the 5-day procedure to a 3.5-day procedure by not having to remove certain things. It made the testing go from 1.5 days to a half day of testing, and the work go from basically 1.5 days to 1 full day of testing. Which
that's why they're hooking you up, man, because you saved them money.
I was saving them billions. And then they sent people from Australia, Germany, France, and Ireland to train and learn the way I did it, so that they could do it to all the 150 so 737s that are in Asia, or not Asia, Europe, sitting in Europe. So they went and did those fixes the way I did it, and could save time and do less testing. So that's what I was doing.
That's important work too. You know what I mean? It's like that's badass.
I feel bad that anything happened, but you know what? I could have quit smoking weed 4 months before I went out there, and I still would have been tested positive. Push come to shove, I'm finding that out now. So
yeah, but you might not have scratched it though.
Nah, I would have, because I had 4 people in the vehicle with me, and I said, "You guys look behind me. and make sure I'm not going to bump into anything. And everybody's looking up at the wing, and no one looked down to make sure I didn't bump into a container behind me. And I bumped this tiny little container. I did like no damage, and I went and I got back, and I was back working, and somebody else saw me bump it, so they were like, should we have him test? Nah. Another guy goes, well, why not? And he's the lead manager. And I'm thinking to myself, why not? Is because it's going to be my job. And I thought I was going to lose my job, but I'm lucky. So,
Whoever seen you do it and ratted you out, man, they're a real piece of work.
well, that's the best thing. No, at Boeing, we rat everybody out. You always rat out at Boeing.
You know
I'll
what?
rat everybody out because it comes down to lives.
Yeah, you're right. I was getting ready to say that. You're
Yeah.
dealing with planes, so it's,
Yep.
I guess, yeah, but it's still,
I'll rat everybody out. If I see you,
harmless little
if I see you
scratch, though,
pull a
man.
pocket knife out to remove a sticker from something that's not going back in the plane, and pocket knives are allowed, I'm telling your manager you had a pocket knife at Boeing. Don't fucking bring your pocket knife to Boeing. Follow the rules. We're at Boeing, and that's exactly what someone did to me, and I'm
Boeing
glad
must
they
be
did.
like Lockheed, like,
Yep, it's like
Wow.
Lockheed. It's like exactly the same. It's like Honeywell. It's like any place. It's like you're working for the government. It's like you're in the military. It's like you're a civilian, and you can smoke weed at your own risk, and you can do whatever you want as long as you're not
Yeah.
being stupid. But
my dad did, he was an alarm guy. We worked in DC a lot. Pretty much every time I worked with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he used to have security clearances and all that shit, man. It was a big deal, you know what I mean? We were both smoking weed the whole time.
yeah, I love it. I loved working there. I miss it. I like it because it's detail oriented. There's a level of perfectionism that goes there, and there's a part of me that, like, when I see someone doing something illegal or doing something wrong, like, I want to just, there's a nature in me that is like a rat. And I just want to make everyone better, even if it means it makes me look horrible. I just want everyone to be doing the right thing. And there's a culture there that is breeding and looking for people who are that way. People who are honest and
you're
always.
smoking weed, though, man. That's,
I don't
puts
care.
you on
I'll
both
give up
sides of
weed.
the fence a little bit, man.
I'll give up the weed for that.
I feel that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's respectable.
Yeah.
That's respectable. That's
Yeah.
really respectable.
Because I think about my grandpa, and I think cause my grandpa worked there, my uncle works there, and I have other cousins that work there, and I know that I'm the only one that's smoking weed and fucking up with my own fucking up my own shit. I should be working there. It's like a part of me, you know. It's like if I could go back in time, it would be. I would almost say I would never smoke weed just to work there 10 years earlier. But I know I took a certain path that's important. You know, it's a
So,
part of who I am. But at the same
It's not
time,
illegal where you're at, right? It's not
it's
illegal.
legal.
Right?
It's totally legal
So why is it you can't-
because the drugs are scheduled 3 ways: Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. Every
weed's a Schedule 2, ain't it?
weed is Schedule 1, which is the worst, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Right there.
any drug that's Schedule 1, you cannot use it if you if you work for the government, you can't use it. And if they detect it in your blood, there's a 0 tolerance. If you work for any company that you're directly responsible for the safety of others, you must test them. If you are secondarily responsible for the safety of others, you must test them, but there's no mandatory testing. So when let's say I was doing the wiring assembly, and I was just back at the factory, I'm not directly affecting. I'm secondarily affecting. I'm following instructions, and I have managers and QC. QC directly affects. So
I get it.
QC
You-
gets
you were
random
your own
UAs.
supervisor.
But I
You
have
were your
no
own supervisor.
UAs as I'm working as a assembler.
I get
But
it.
an architect who draws the drawings for a bridge, he is not directly responsible either, because he has people that approve and systems, and then he has
Right.
builders. But the people who build it, people who build a bridge, are directly affecting the safety of others, because they could do things wrong, mix the cement wrong, and the bridge could go down and cause a bunch of deaths. So those people must be mandatorily tested. Anybody who's in those categories in the United States actually technically have to be tested regularly with random UAs. And that's why certain companies have random UAs, because they have to.
Do you think you'll ever risk it? Do you think you'll ever risk it again?
I'll never risk it, but I will always pray that a president deschedules it from 1 to 2, so that I can just do it freely, because I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, that's crazy they made it a Schedule 1. That's a Reagan error.
Yeah, it shouldn't be Schedule 1. Marijuana should not be Schedule 1. That's just my opinion.
The whole war on drugs is retarded.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yep.
I mean, you look at places that where like shit's legal and you don't have as much problems because when you make something illegal, more people want to do it.
Okay, the people who messed up and allowed for the MCAS system, which is the flight control system in the 737s, to go in, but that they didn't make sure that every pilot was trained, were greedy motherfuckers that don't smoke weed. But if they were potheads that weren't greedy, they would have been like, no, we need to be safe first.
Double check, triple check, quadruple check, everything.
Yeah, we do everything wrong. We probably are doing this wrong. Let's make sure. Let's ask somebody. Let's ask somebody. And they would have talked about it so much that it would have never slipped by.
That's a fact, dude.
Potheads wouldn't have killed 300 people in Singapore and Indonesia or whatever it was, and Ethiopia. Potheads wouldn't have done it. They would have been like, nope, that's stupid. This is a stupid thing to try and get away with. We're just gonna get caught. They're too paranoid. They're too conscientious, and they're thinking in a loving, interactive, hippy dippy kind of way, and they just wouldn't have been trying to sneak away with it. It
might take a pothead longer, but it's gonna be perfected.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think that Boeing would have been in the same hot shit they're in right now, and there wouldn't have been any crashes if they just had more pothead engineers. That's my opinion. Because the potheads would have just been like, hey, they're speaking up about it, you know? Instead of being like, oh, let's just all be quiet and easily manipulated.
That's crazy we live in a world where fucking a man like you, like, a man as smart as you are, a man is, you're a very intelligent person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep.
And you have to worry about, you know what I'm saying?
I can't make my own personal choices and know whether what's good for me or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's crazy as hell. Yeah.
But I'm gonna still say thank you, God, for putting me on this path. I feel good being clean. Feels nice, you know. So
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everything's good in moderation, but having that clarity for a little bit, it does kind of, you know, makes everything a little bit more
after
enjoyable.
This clarity, I would be like, hey, can't I just smoke on weekends? And now I can't smoke on weekends even, you know.
Right.
I can't smoke on weekends ever again.
Everything has to happen for a reason, though, man. Maybe there's something.
Yeah.
There's something good.
Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to get cancer next year.
No.
I'm just kidding, you know what I mean, though? Like, all of a sudden, my body's got no CBDs. I'm susceptible.
You've got an argument for everything, man. I'm telling you. That's that ornery shit I was talking about right there. That's that orneriness I was just talking about.
You know, I'm supposed to get lymphatic cancer. That's why.
Well, can't enter the contest. That's the same shit, man. But it's good. Man. It's good. It's good to have people that can do that too, because you know what I'm saying. It makes people think of a different perspective.
Yep. Well, hey, man, that was a great talk. I think we'll call it. That's like a 2.5-hour blog right there.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I wish I was recording that, man. It's
recorded.
Awesome.
It's always there forever. We can always watch it again.
Please send me that, man.
It's on YouTube forever. So.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube, duh.
Yeah.
All right, well, man, it was awesome talking to you, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, it was awesome. We'll chat more, I'm sure.
Definitely, man.
This will not be the last time the runner is interviewed. Guarantee that, idiot blog folks.
We're gonna do DMT one day on
the blog. All right, dude. I'll catch you on the flip side.
I'll talk to you later.
Later, man. All right, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was the blog. It's all quiet now. So silent. Back to the normal blogs, you guys. We'll do a new guest in a week. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. Listen to the Runner's music. You can go find him at Roadrunner Jr. Bandlab.com/Roadrunner Jr. Don't take everything we said too literally, but you know, take it with a grain of salt or whatever. You know, we're just two guys having a chat. And yeah, you guys have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.
Competition, the rest would be losing. You are my muse and you are my influence. My sun and my moon and you keep me in movement. Ooh, 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 ooh. You are the one that I see in my future. Do anything just so I do not lose you. When I see you, then I sing hallelujah. All I really want is you. Baby, know you want me to. You are all I want to do. Ooh, 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 ooh. All I really want is you. Baby, know you want me to. You're all that I'm trying to do. Swear to God, you are the reason I'm alive. If it wasn't for you, I would not survive. Seeing your strength is what helps me to strive. The greatest thing I've ever had in my life. You are the reason I'm trying to do right. And you are the reason my life has some light. Ooh. All I really want is you. Baby, know you want me to. You are all I want to do. Ooh, ooh.